Yikes. Hello, everybody. Everybody hear me okay? Gotta clean off my glasses really quick. Hello, everybody. Oh, that's my stream. We don't need to hear that. We can already hear it. Hi, Matthew Wu. Sounds good to you? Nice. How is everybody doing right now on this day or night? Whatever it be for you. While I wait for people to trickle in and whatnot, I don't know. Thinking about doing 10 push-ups every couple minutes. Because I have done nothing in the last few days. Nothing in the last 2 days. I played a lot of tennis the day before that. Why not just do a few now? See how it feels. Hi, Ella Lewis. Alright, everybody. So, the idea of this is to, watch the hitting sessions that I had with Mark Sandset. If you don't know who Mark Sandset is, he is a 4-5 rated USTA player. And recently, he came to Ohio to participate as the #1 seed in the 4-5 Midwest Sectionals event, which is a qualifier for the USTA Nationals for this year, 2021. And the sectionals happen to be held less than 30 minutes away from where I live. So I ended up being a candidate for somebody that Mark could hit with and warm him up. Mega Man! Welcome, Mega Man! What an honor! You were my favorite video game character growing up. Hi, Megamind. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I might just do 10 push-ups every couple minutes, because I've just been so inactive the last 2 days. But, anyway, yeah. So, tennis, me, Mark. Mark good, me bad. Fun stuff. Can't wait. I hope you are excited to watch me miss every single freaking ball. I'm gonna try and not be like this the entire time as I analyze my hitting, or whatever you could call that. See, there it is again. I know that I get really down on myself, but, it might be difficult. This might be difficult for me, watching these hitting sessions, because, I don't know, it might be really bad. I just have to tell you right now. This might just be a pure, unmitigated disaster, what you're about to see. We're gonna find out. Hopefully you enjoy, and let's go.
That's him.
The thing is, this is going to help me very, very much. Analyzing this, even if it is painful in a way. Doing this, analyzing this, seeing everything that I do wrong, just seeing everything I do, seeing everything he does, just watching all this back is going to help me a great deal. And I'm ready. And unfortunately, my forehand is going to be big and loopy in its takeback. This is something that I'm gravitating away from since these days that I hit with Mark. It's too bad that I didn't do that. I didn't make the adjustment before I hit with him, because that would have helped me a lot. But here we are, just warming up short court, and I didn't realize that he was steadily moving back. because normally when I do short court warm-ups with other people at Towpath, we just stay in the short court the entire time. So I wasn't really paying attention to him to see that he was trying to move back to the baseline. And so I was just staying right there at the service line. That was actually a decent get. Thanks, Brian. I included a couple of the actual engaging and some of the best exchanges for that little preview video. And so now we're just going straight back to the baseline. But I appreciate it, Brian. Also, I hope you're doing well. Welcome, Drew. The rack that I'm using here in this video is the Dunlop CX200 Tour. The 2020 version. Or like the version before the 2021 version. See, that's kind of a loopy take back, and it's going to be causing me problems. And there's a nice short ball. Another nice short ball. Yeah, this is a great start, right? Hi, Tomato Soup Group. Yeah, so, at this point I was already starting to get myself a bit too worked up. Because it's funny, the weeks leading up to this, usually when I play with a much higher level player, I'm just running on pure adrenaline, and so my performance is way better than it usually is, and I kind of match their level a little bit. But in this case, I got a bit too high. I got a bit too, like, as if you saw my video that I made preparing for this meeting, where I was talking about how I was thinking about how important this was to Mark. I allowed my role to become a bit inflated in my head, and so I got legitimately nervous, and it kind of pushed off the positive effects of the adrenaline, unfortunately. So,
Oh boy, here we go.
for these two hitting sessions, I'm gonna be very, very tight, very, 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 very tight, which is not what you want. Yeah, Ella Lewis says playing up is very beneficial. Yes. And of course, I have already benefited in an absurd amount from these just two hitting sessions with Mark. This was incredible for me. What an experience and what an opportunity. I am very worried. I might say this a few times, and I don't want anybody to feel like they need to defend me, especially not Mark himself, who has been nothing but grateful and gracious. But, I mean, if I was not a good match for Mark as a hitting partner. I mean, yes, I was better than nothing. I was better than him just going in completely unwarmed up. But I probably could have found him someone closer to his level. And I'm extremely worried, just naturally, and I'm not really beating myself up over it, but I'm extremely worried that I was part of the cause of his unconfidence going into the event. Or lack of confidence, we'll say. But, that's, I mean, what are we gonna do? I mean, again, Mark has never given me any sort of an indication, or any sort of beginning of an indication that he feels that way. And because he's just been nothing but thankful and gracious and kind to me, but, I mean, it is what it is. And I also just have to thank Mark into the infinity of the universe for giving me these hitting sessions, and I know that, again, like, he'll say that this was beneficial for him and exactly what he needed, but here's a decent little exchange here for me. I'm actually giving him balls to hit, which is better than what we had seen prior, and now there's a bad one. But let's look at that again. That is by far the best that I have been able to keep a rally going to that point. Obviously, I'm not giving him very pacey balls. I got way too close to that one and made him run, which is not what I wanted. I'm starting to line up the backhand a little bit. That was a bit of a weird one, but it works. That's a better one. I think Mark, at this point, sort of realized that what he wanted to get out of these hitting sessions with me would be to try and swing out, because I wasn't going to be pushing him. I didn't have the sort of weapons to really, like, emulate a 4-5, actual 4-5 hitting session, so he decided that he was just going to practice really swinging out and going for some heavy, pacey balls. Also, it's really awesome to see everybody here. Hi, Rainier Tennis. Hi, Rob Santos. Yeah, Megamind says don't put that on yourself because it's not true. And I know that there's only a modicum of trueness, like of truthfulness, and if there is, we'll never actually know. Like if Mark had hit with a 4-5 partner and gotten proper 4-5 hitting practice before going into the tournament, which he did in Wisconsin. We will never actually know if he would have performed better because we can't look at the alternate reality where that might have happened. But thank you for saying that, and thank you, John, for saying that. Also, welcome, John. Rob Santos asks, do you think he will switch back to the E-zone? From what he said about how bad it was for his arm, I doubt it. He's just going to experiment with customizing the radicals, and I think... I mean, maybe he'll experiment with more rackets. Also, I'll be using that for a thumbnail, perhaps. Maybe he'll experiment with more frames, but he hasn't been talking about the radical being something that held him back. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but he's definitely mentioned that he's going to customize them.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's unbelievable.
But yeah, the arm pain was the big thing, and he's going to review the E-zone. And he's very passionate about doing that and revealing to you the experience that it gave to him in the not-so-positive light. So I doubt he's ever going to switch back to that. So that's what I have to say. But that's not coming from the horse's own mouth. Drew says you have some really nice backhands. Thank you so much. It is definitely my strongest part of my ground strokes at this point. Although my forehand, hopefully, as of my last hitting session, is really starting to catch up, which would be amazing. But not in the hitting sessions you'll see. You'll be seeing my forehand continue to be a liability against Mark, unfortunately. Rainier, I don't know. I really don't think that MEP would have been bad for him. MEP would have given him way more balls, which would have been good. Rob Santos asks, can I give you a quick coaching tip? Sure, go ahead. And then says, watch your forehand closely. Look at where your thumb ends up. Many times it points upward toward the end of your forehand stroke. It should point downwards. Yeah, there's some major grip things happening with me with my forehand ever since I started playing tennis. That is a massive work in progress. And I've gotten some really bad habits regarding that. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle, but I'm prepared for it. I finally, it seems, resolutely moved my grip from continental on the forehand. That's a decent slice. I finally moved my grip away from continental on the forehand side, and I've gotten something more like an Eastern, which is a gigantic step for me.
Yes.
Yeah, John says try to bend at your knees for backhands. Yep, I tend to be too upright. Many people have said that. There we go. There's a nice forehand. Let's look at that again. Take a look at this. Nice. That's how you warm up a 4-5, everybody. That's how you do it. Hi, Anson. I'm glad you're excited. It's really cool to see all of you here. Hi, Ati. Is that an all right? Is that correct? Ati? They say you've only been playing for 2 years. You're looking great. Well, thank you so much. There we go. Yeah, that is the exchange where Mark was like, "There you go, buddy. Yeah, see, you had it in you all along." He was so lovely. Yeah, we're gonna watch that again. Yeah, and he was really hitting deep here. That's a beautiful cross-court backhand. I missed that one again. And now this is where I hit a couple of decent shots in a row, because that's all I can do. Yeah, and he's giving me a big smile. Let's take a look at my grip here on this second forehand. Yeah, that's like a weak Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. Whoops, that was weird. Why I wasn't able to pause. And the racket drop. Okay. Now, this is also a huge step for me, because prior to about 2 or 3 weeks ago, or prior to about a month ago, my racket drop, instead of looking like that, which is somewhat proper, I guess, my racket would face the sky. And you can imagine how consistent that made my forehand. The least consistent forehand on the face of the earth. So this is also nice to see. And unfortunately, I mean, you can see my entire body is about as loose as a board that has been frozen in absolute zero. But I've fought against that my entire life, and there's only so much I can do because I'm just naturally one of the stiffest people who has ever been born. So, working on it.
There it is. Awesome. Thank you. Lucky hit spot. I'll take it.
Yep. I intentionally put on an outfit that I wanted to kind of stand out with during this session because it was such an important session. Like, some people dress up, and this is my version of dressing up, which is, I don't know. Many people would have their own way of phrasing it, and they did in the comments section in my preview video, and they will continue to, as I'm absolutely sure they will, because they... never mind. Yeah. It's definitely fair if people are perplexed by my choice, but... you know... It's just, I like doing it, so. And also, those shorts were made for me by a friend as a surprise present, so. He's very gay, and I'm here for it. Shawn Michaels. Rainier says, I don't know if it's the camera angles, but your ground strokes are very high over the net with topspin. A lot of that is just their lack of pace. They're traveling really slowly, which gives them a chance to go high and come back down. I don't disagree with you. You're not wrong. Like, they definitely have a decent amount of spin whenever you see them go that high. But whenever I'm putting more pace on it and trying to redirect, you're going to see them be much lower. See, that's a decent ground stroke, and it was fairly high. But you can see how loopy my takeback is. And against somebody who's putting a bunch of pace at me, like Mark, that's just not going to work. And I know Mark himself has been talking about how he wants to adjust his forehand takeback, his unit turn, to be less loopy. And fortunately for me, it's more natural to make a change like that because I'm still, oh god, because I'm still so new to tennis. And I think my body naturally wants a much more muted takeback on the forehand. So I don't really have to... Like, I was doing this intentionally. Like, this forehand takeback, I was making myself do that every time because I thought that it was going to help for some reason. I don't know why. Don't ask anything of me because I will never have a good answer for you. It doesn't matter what it is. But the last time I hit with my usual hitting partner, I muted my forehand takeback a lot, and I was having amazing results. It's too bad I didn't do this for Mark. God dang it. That's a really good, like, drive forehand volley from the baseline, though, by Mark. See, there's a super, like, high and no-pace backhand. You recognize this little exchange here. This was as part of the preview video. We'll take a look at this again. Starting here. Amazing forehands from Mark. Off forehands. Here's a big one. Hi Ian, I hope you're doing well today. Ian asks, what was the biggest thing that surprised you about hitting with Mark? This is probably something that you would hear commonly from 3-5s because it is one of the more noticeable things. Just the raw pace. I mean, I have hit with 4-5s before. If you ever need anything to sum it up, this is what I felt about the type of ball that Mark was giving me. That right there. That'll tell you. And while I respond to chat here, I'll just leave this on the screen. Let's do this again. One more time. There you go. Alright. I gotta catch up here. Rob says, I wish I could hit a one-handed backhand. I was like that when I first started. I started off with a two-hander. I was a golfer from the age of 4, and I was a decent junior player. And so a two-handed backhand was what I started with, and it was my best. I taught myself groundstrokes against a wall before it was torn down at our college campus, which was a very sad thing. And I used a two-handed backhand, and it was the shot that felt the most natural to me in tennis for a long time. But I switched to a one-hander because when I was playing around with it, after a while, it felt like it ended up feeling more natural, like especially for creating pace. And now it is by far my best shot, if you don't count my serve, which is very inconsistent. But I suppose my backhand is as well to a degree, but it is my most consistent shot. Rainier says, we got a good 3-minute delay on the stream. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry everybody. Yeah, for some reason, the delay on my YouTube streams are intense. I don't know exactly why, but I apologize if it takes me like 6 years to get to your messages. Drew says, when are you expecting your hydrogen ball machine? I'm interested in them, but gotta wait for reviews. I don't know when to expect mine at all. Some people say that theirs have shipped already. My email said it might not come until June, but that I think was a general email. I need to look at my order number and see where I am in the order of sendouts. Rob says this is a nice indoor tennis facility. I completely agree. This is Towpath Tennis Center in Northeast Ohio, in between Akron and Cuyahoga Falls. Excuse me. And I would highly recommend it, not just because I work there and play there very often, but because it does have nice courts. And I just like it there. Bruce says, how about on your off shots, your shoulders not being parallel to the ground? When you hit good shots, your shoulders are parallel. I need to look at that more often. That's not something I've ever thought about. It was brought up in a comment recently, too, in one of my other videos. Anson says, work on the balance on your forehand. Like I said in a comment on your previous video, your backhand, I remember, yes. Your backhand is much better because you're well balanced on that shot compared to your forehand. Yes, and that's something that I've worked on most on my forehand in the last few sessions, and especially the last session I had 2 days ago. It made a gigantic difference. And it's not something that I would have been able to do months ago, but now I think I'm finally getting more of a feel as a tennis player. It's something that kind of has to come with experience too, at least for me. Megamind says, need an Ian and Syria collab. I would definitely love to. And Ian actually said it too, yeah. Anytime I would love to. It's one of the things that I'd kind of drop everything to do, and I definitely don't want to pressure Ian into doing a collab, but just letting him know I'm very interested. And he's been supporting all my videos, leaving comments and stuff, and I really appreciate that. Really appreciate it. And all the content from Essential Tennis is a banger. Everybody, if you don't know Essential Tennis, search Essential Tennis right now. Amazing content from a teaching standpoint, analytical standpoint. It has lots of good footage from pro players with slow motion stuff. And recently, Ian has been pushing the game in terms of amateur tennis, like filming and presenting match play in very cinematic ways. And I highly recommend that stuff. He and his team have been putting so much work in, and it really shows. So, highly recommend Essential Tennis. Andrew says, how many games would MEP take off Mark in 3 sets? More than you think. And it depends on how well they're both playing. And Ian says, MEP match will hopefully happen in a few weeks, working out schedules. Ooh. Ian says, come up to Milwaukee anytime. It would definitely be one of my first places that I would want to go. There and Atlanta as well, for obvious reasons, if you're around the tennis YouTube sphere. If you're not, then Atlanta also has a ton of great YouTube channels for tennis, not limited to Tennis Troll and Acing Tennis. Among many others, like Simon Serves, I believe, is also from Atlanta. That's a smaller channel, which I also encourage you to check out. From what I've seen, I haven't seen much of his stuff, but it looks good. But yeah, that's really exciting, Ian. Boyal says, one-hander just for aesthetics. I have to say that yes, that was a large factor. Was a large factor, but it ended up feeling better anyway. So, So yeah, and now it is definitely just my favorite shot overall. It's the shot I'm most comfortable with. It's the shot that I have most as a weapon at my level. Again, excluding my serve, which I still need to get more consistent before I can call it a weapon. See, like, yeah, like that's a shot that I usually make. Unfortunately, I was like shots that I do look off balance on. I usually would get back, even though it does look ugly for a good reason because I'm doing it poorly. But I was also like any shot that might be like a coin flip in these sessions that I was hitting with Mark, whether or not I make or miss. Unfortunately, a lot of them were just on the miss side.
No.
Oh my god! See, just I completely cut myself off. Super scrunched, and then I had the big loopy takeback, so there was nowhere I could go. And obviously, like, you see how heavy that ball was for Mark, and you're gonna see that be a pattern. Like, every time Mark hits me a ball that heavy with topspin, I'm usually not gonna get it back, and if I do, it's gonna be a really low quality shot going at him. Yeah, so I was also not used to seeing such a high quality topspin ball coming at me, like super loopy with pace. So you're going to see that be a consistent issue for me, and I just need to stop missing feeds. Okay, it's alright, it's alright. And Mark probably came in knowing that this was going to be happening, and that's probably partially why he went really big with his shots. Just trying to break in those radicals and hit hard and try and build up some confidence with hitting hard. So hopefully that he found value in these sessions on that regard. Anson says, glad to hear that. Anyway, I gotta go coach. I'll watch the video later. See you. See you, Anson. Thank you for dropping in. It's good to see you, and good luck with coaching. I hope you have fun. Booyal says, have you done any competitive play, not just playing versus friends? Like 2 years ago, I was doing some match play via this tennis center, like their own little match play ladder, which was not super involved. Like it was only like a few people who were doing it, but I did get to play matches with a few people during that time. Not in a while though. It's been a long time since I played matches. Aside from the person that you see me usually playing with on that outdoor court, the very defensive player, who people like to crap on, especially on his service technique, but he craps on me in tennis, so... But anyway, yeah, the last time I played, I did 4 sets with him, and got destroyed on all of them except one, and I'm going to be showing that set, in every single point from that set, in one of my next videos, and I'm very, 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 very happy about that set, even though... Actually, no, I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it. Maybe I won ugly, because I said even though, that does suggest something. That I could have won ugly, one of us could have gotten injured, I could have lost, I'll leave it up to you. But that'll be coming up soon. But that was when I noticed a lot of, just so many improvements in that set, especially versus him, and that day overall. But now, Mark, you saw that we both set up, you can't see the one on his side, but you can see the one on my side. I've got an empty can of balls there, sitting upside down. We are both trying to hit the can of balls on the other side of the court, and we're doing a best of 3. So, if I hit the one on his side, I get a point. If he hits the one on my side, he gets a point. And I almost hit it there on his side. And so this is just this is an exercise where we're trying to build up consistency and depth on our shots. And it's funny because whenever I'm in a match play situation, I cannot do anything but hit to the middle. Even when I'm trying to hit away from the middle, I hit to the middle. But in a situation like this, when I'm trying to hit it right to somebody in a training situation, I hit perfect corners unintentionally. It's horrifying. But yeah, thank you, Ian. I appreciate it. I appreciate the sentiment, and hopefully sometime soon I can go up to Milwaukee. And yeah, I need to send you a proper email. Okay, so I got a point there. I knocked over the cannonballs, and I got a point. So it's now 1-0. And then that happened. And that will happen a lot. And I give him a terrible feed. And then a terrible backhand. Okay, yeah, there's just lots of little moments like that that you're going to be seeing constantly. And I just have to watch it and not jump out of my skin. Ian says, you never give yourself enough credit, Saria. Mark is a monster off the ground. You stood your ground extremely well. And this is from you are completely normal. Yeah. And thank you again, Ian. And, I absolutely... God. Okay, yeah, see, yeah, that'll come with experience. That'll come with time. And I know what you're saying is true. But also, like... Okay, yeah, there's a lucky late backhand winner. I guess I'll watch it again, why not? Yeah, we'll see that again, too, to balance it out. But, yeah, I know what you're saying is true, but then, like, my mind still, again, goes to... Like, yeah, I did my best, and this went exactly how it would go. Like, how you would expect it to go, it went as well as it could. These two hitting sessions. But then my mind just goes to, I should have gotten him somebody better. Like, I feel like that was my responsibility to warm him up the best way that I possibly could have. But, again, I'm going to try and not say that too much. I feel like it does merit being said as a possibility for... I mean, spoilers, everybody. Again, and that's what somebody said earlier. I spoiled... Oh, no. I hope... Did I spoil you for Mark's result? Okay, so I should probably put a disclaimer somewhere or something. Like, spoilers for Mark's results in the sectionals tournament. But, yeah, I think it's just a natural response that I will worry about my part in his losing and being unconfident in his matches. It's just gonna happen. But I'm not just like destroying myself over it. At least it doesn't feel that way. Maybe there's damage happening that I'm not aware of. I don't know. And there probably is. But it's just the type of personality that I am. It's just going to happen. Okay. I see. It was probably getting in my head that I was actually starting to make some balls. And so that's probably partially why I missed that one. Okay, here's one of the rallies that I included in the preview video. Decent slice. Don't know if this was in or out, but it was... No, I think that was in. So that was an unintentionally good backhand and then just the biggest forehand of all time. Zex, is that a proper way to say it? Welcome, but also they say, I think you put yourself down too much. Mark isn't that much better. With putting himself down? Or with, you know, in actual quality? Because Mark is actually that much better than me. But I don't want to, like, invalidate you, but I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you. Booyal says, yeah, for sure. I also hit with my 4-5 friend, and the quality, depth, heaviness of his shots is at another level compared to me, but it's definitely helped me improve. Oh, God, yeah. And again, let it be said, I am appreciating this experience for what it is, like this absolute honor and incredible opportunity for me to improve as a player. And I think it really did. I think I did notice the effects of it when I hit with my usual partner. Oh! Like, that looked better than a net shot. Megamind says, I don't think anyone would have tried as hard and supported him as much as you did. Thank you, Megamind. I really appreciate that. That made me feel very nice. And I mean... I was definitely there, like, if nothing else, to be a supportive presence for him. And I think I did a decent job with that. And I definitely, like, never brought up my feelings about these hitting sessions. I never, like, said, oh man, I'm doing so bad, like... I never even came close to going there verbally. Or like, any other communicative way. It was all about just the hitting and just helping him out during the trip. I never mentioned my feelings about these sessions, because it's not about me. But now in this stream, in this scenario where, like, it is about me, kind of, even though a lot of people are probably here because they're interested in Mark. See, that's how I'm feeling already about this session. Let's look at this lead-up session. I wasn't looking at these shots. I've probably just been missing so much. Yeah, he's had to take so many volleys from the baseline because I just cannot find a range at all. Oh my god! And then I do that. And now, look at that! I hit a shot to the middle when it doesn't matter. And that's how I'm feeling about it, yeah. But thank you, Megamine. Thank you so much. Ian says, get that crap out of your head. Mark chose to warm up with you. He knows exactly what your level is and what to expect. You did amazing. Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know. Like, I definitely don't want to insult Mark by making it seem like he didn't know what he was getting into. Because I know that he did. And that has also helped. And again, I'm not, like, destroying myself over this. I think did I miss the second hit? Because for a long time, I'm at 2-0 in this little hitting exercise. Because I hit the can again. Yeah, I think at this point I'm already 2-0. He said that, yeah, sometimes this exercise lasts 5 minutes, and this time it didn't. Like, we were going at this for a solid 20 minutes at least. I got 2 points pretty quick. Oh god, thank you everybody. Yeah, and again, I didn't want the point of this to be people feeling the need to defend me, and like, I know you probably don't feel the need to go out of your way to say all these things. These are things you would naturally be saying. But again, like, these are things that I would naturally be saying too. Like, I feel like all this merit's being said, and I just needed to get it all off my chest too. And so I don't need you all to come to my defense here. Although I do appreciate it a lot. I appreciate all the sentiments, and it means a lot to me that you're trying to be here for me. But that's not what I'm trying to do here. I don't want this to be a pity party. And I know you all don't want that to be that way either, because you all are being so incredibly kind and complimentary about how I'm doing here. This is another little exchange that I put inside the preview video. Like a decent backhand-ish, very stiff as everything I do, and then I've somehow got that forehand. Because when I'm stretched out on the forehand side is when I am most confident. And that's not an exaggeration, because that's when I actually feel like my footwork is the most resolute, because I'm required to move my feet a certain way just to get to the ball, and so I'm not second-guessing anything. And so whenever I'm stretched out onto the forehand side, that's when I feel the most confident on the forehand. That is such a good ball by Mark. I can make that. I can make that. Like, so many of these misses are upsetting to me because I know that I can make them. But I think because I was making myself so tense, I was not making them. Yeah, I should have made that too, but at that point I'd already took him so far off the court that it didn't really matter. Thank you, Boo, y'all. Rainier says, not a coach here, but once you feel like you have worked out the fundamental problems, I would focus on consistency rather than constantly changing parts of your form. Yeah, and that's something that I've really changed. If that's, I mean, that's a weird word to use with what you said, but I used, okay, so in the first solid, like, 1.5 to 2 years of my tennis journey, every single thing that I did for my game was based on aesthetics, because I thought it would look cool. Every single change I made to my technique was because I thought it might look cool. I'm finally not doing that anymore. It took a long time, but now, every technical change I make is because I think it will be the best for my tennis game. And since I've started doing that, I have noticed improvement finally after a long plateau. So yeah, and all the changes I'm making now are few and far between, and when they are, they're more minor and feel oriented, all feel oriented. So that's a huge step for me. Finally, not making changes because, oh, this might look cool in videos. And that's partially, like, why I was doing the big loopy forehand take back, because I thought when Dan Evans does it, and my coach that you're seeing in more videos now, he does it too, like, I thought that it looked cool. So it's like, oh yeah, I want to look cool, I'll do it too. No! Do what feels best. Unintentionally great backhand. It was supposed to be toward the middle, but I'll take it. Fine, we'll look at it again, because this is another one that I used for the preview video. I think it was a sequence of decent backhands. Yeah. I hit some of my best shots when I'm just redirecting. I feel really comfortable when I'm redirecting pace, especially on the backhand side. But if it's a low ball, again, like I said before, and you'll notice this constantly, if it's a super high and heavy ball with a lot of pace, then I'm left kind of with my pants down, because I just don't see those balls. Hi, Cecilia Aragorn / Eve. Yes, I have been streaming for 40 minutes now. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. JNR Gaming, welcome. They say, I saw your improvement video from when you first started. Great stuff. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and I've improved a lot since then, too. Hi, that dog from Halo. Thank you for that generic motivational quote as a bug fact. Cecilia Aragorn says, what's important is you're practicing, you're learning, and you're having fun. Yes. That is definitely happening. Ian says, gotta go. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for sharing your journey, Saria. Thank you for sharing your journey, Ian, and for coming in here and being such a nice and positive force. It's so appreciated, man. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll try and shoot you a proper email about wanting to play on that court, because you recommended that for people who want to do so. Man, he's hitting so many good shots that should be clipping that can, and they just don't. Half-decent shot from me. There we go. JNR says, do you feel comfortable with one-handed backhand? I switched to two hands. Yes, the one-handed backhand is the most comfortable shot in my game right now, by far. It didn't start out that way. When I first started trying out groundstrokes for the first time, for one thing, it was with a child racket. It was a youth tennis racket, and I did not know there were differences between the racket I was using and adult rackets. I didn't know such a thing existed at the time. So I had even less room to use the two-handed backhand, but I still used one, and I still liked it. And when I tried to hit a one-hander, I was like, how on earth does a person do this? But then, something just started clicking for me, and I started learning how to make shots with the one-hander, and I kept at it, and then, before long, it became my best shot. Most consistent. There it is! He finally got his first point, so now it's, 2-1 me in this game. Excuse me. Eve says we're doing wonderful. Just trucking along day by day, trying to get ourselves to focus on a project for your portfolio. Oh, sounds good. Good luck. I hope it's going well. Andre Taggart, hi. Andre says, how was it dealing with Mark's pace? I mean, you're probably getting a good sense of it just by watching. It was a lot. It was a lot for me. I never got a grip on it. We had 2 hitting sessions. This one was an hour and a half. The second one was 1 hour, and I never was able to match it or like figure out any sort of comfort. So it was it was too much for Mr. Incredible. But in the best possible way. I mean, that's the sort of thing I really need to start seeing. And of course, you're going to see that I'm better with it on the backhand side than I am on the forehand side. And there's an example. Watching me try to handle Mark's high, pacey topspin forehands into my forehand is like trying to watch a seal save people from a burning building. There you go. Okay, so now, just like that, it's 2-2 in the game. HIQ Pandora's Box, welcome. They say, props, Saria. I know how it feels. I've been playing 2.5 years, and my hitting partners are mostly 4-5s. Oh, I mean, I love my hitting partner. He's great for me, too, with his consistency in a different way. But God, in a way, I do also envy you for having that easy access to 4-5s. I mean, I assume it's easy access. Oh, man. But yeah, also, to my hitting partner out there, if you're seeing this, All the best. If it weren't for him, I would not... Like, thanks to him, I'm able to play tennis at all whenever I want to. Like, whenever I want to, he's basically down. And, I mean, that is invaluable. So I cannot thank him enough. Hey, there's a boy! There's a boy. And I'm trying it, and I don't quite have it. Later on, we'll see a better version of that. And my usual partner is a 4-0 player himself, definitely. He is far, far too consistent and too good with a racket to be a 3-5. A lot of people like to call him like a 2-5 or a 3-0 on YouTube comments, but they're just absolutely delusional. He is a 4-0. See, like, there's just no need for that loopy take back. And you can see that I have no idea how to move to the ball, like how to move my feet, whenever I see a ball that pacey coming onto my forehand. My footwork is the biggest problem with my forehand, probably. That one somehow worked. Oh my god, that is... Let's look at that backhand from Mark again. Take a look at this forehand, and then this backhand. Look at the action on this ball. This is why court level view is amazing. Look at this ball from Mark. JNR says, you guys are in Wisconsin, right? I'm in Ohio, so this court that we're hitting on here, this is in Ohio. This is the club that I usually play at. And Mark is based in Wisconsin, but he came to Ohio for the 4-5 USDA sectionals tournament, and so we were able to meet and hit. But yeah, Mark and also Ian Westerman, the main face of Essential Tennis, who was just in chat earlier, he is also in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, very close to Mark. Oh, he's the one apologizing to me after I hit a... after I forced him to hit a drive volley from the baseline because my ball was out. Gosh. What a sweetheart. Megamind says, you're not as bad as you say you are, even though you'll be pissed. No, I'm not angry at you for telling me that, no. Absolutely not. No. No. I'm not mad at you for telling me that. And it's funny, in a way, like, I probably sounded mad at you for telling me that, but I just don't want you to... in a way, my mindset is unhealthy, and that's very obvious. When you see how I crumble, like, if you were able to see more often how I crumble in match situations, and basically all situations in life where I'm mentally accountable for my performance in something, I crumble so often. And one of the reasons that the set play you'll be seeing from my last hitting session is going to be so satisfying because I actually didn't do that time. I gave myself good constructive self-talk, I kept myself in it, and I feel incredible about it. But, a lot of the stuff that I'm saying, like, I'm just trying to be funny, like when I'm being self-deprecating, and I should probably adjust my sense of humor because I shouldn't be, like, encouraging just raw self-deprecation and to the point where it becomes self-loathing, because that's often, like, mostly that's never what it feels like to me. I'm not actually loathing myself when I say stuff like that. I'm just usually trying to be funny and like, take things in stride, because that's, in my life, that's how I've learned, God, that's how I've learned to turn negativity into positivity, is by, like, literally turning those feelings into jokes. And it doesn't always come off the right way, especially because I just do it so often. And there's Mark just throwing in a few two-handers now and then. Matthew Wu says, how do you go about finding people that are better than you to hit with? It's not easy. It's that's one of the harder aspects of tennis, I suppose. There are many factors that are difficult for people, and that's certainly one of them. Is, for one thing, like, finding people to play with in general, just straight up, period, without massive cost. See, there's a golf swing. I was talking to him about how I started as a golfer. And that's probably why my backhand is so balanced compared to all my other shots. Because, I mean, what is the most important part of a golf swing? Weight transfer and balance. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, finding people to play with is one of the tougher things. And there are resources for that out there. Global Tennis Network is a website that you can try and use. It's definitely not a foolproof way to meet tennis players because it only works if the tennis players in your area, for one thing, set up an account on that site. Another thing, are constantly checking to see if people have messaged them asking to hit. And for a lot of people probably don't know that the resource exists, but it is a good resource. I recommend the Global Tennis Network because it's how my usual hitting partner found several new people to play with, and it's how I found a couple of different people too. So I recommend Global Tennis Network, and you can detail what your game is like, what your level is, where you're located, so people can find you and you can find other people who put their location and their level and stuff. And so I do recommend Global Tennis Network. Andrew Tennis says, what's the ball machine you're getting again? It is the Proton ball machine. I forget what the company is called. Darn it, yeah, I forget. But it's a brand new ball machine that is just now starting to
I know.
just now starting to send out some of its pre-orders. So it's still in a stage where there aren't any like customer reviews out yet. So we're gonna find out how good it is, and especially how good it is like as years pass. That's one of the things that I'm worried about, is how long it lasts. But I'm definitely interested in seeing its performance and trying it out. And yeah, it's the Proton ball machine. Hydrogen Sports was the company. But yeah, I'm hoping that it'll be a good one. And Andre says, how many racks do you have? How often do you restring? So, I now have 2 play rackets, and unfortunately they're not the same model, which I know is a no-no for a lot of people, and not without reason. But I finally added lead tape to both of them, trying to get their specs as close as possible, if only in the weight department. And I loved the feeling of the lead tape. That was one of the things that I loved about the last hitting session, by the way. But I have the rack that I'm using here, which is the Dunlop CX 200 Tour, which is a wonderful racket. A pretty stiff frame, but I love stiffness, and I just feel like it does everything well. And then I also use the Dunlop Force 98, which you can see my older Force 98, which is starting to get worn down, leaning against that Wimbledon towel there. It's the one more in the middle of the Wimbledon tower, which is a flexier frame, and I also feel like it does a lot of things really, really well. And I love both of those frames, especially now that I put a bunch of lead tape on that Dunlop Force 98. I feel like that's really what it needed. I played super well with it. Oh my god. See, that's what I try and do to control a ball. I try and swing like this. So I gotta work on that. Check out Clay Thompson on YouTube. I feel like I've heard of that person. Andrew says, it's a fine line on the internet. People tear down cocky people mercilessly on the internet, so it's natural to react offensively, being overly humble and self-deprecating. Yeah, and I think partially it was actually my internet experience that caused that in me, because I've been on YouTube since 2006, when I was 12 years old. I'll say no more. Making skit videos with my friend and putting them on YouTube. And every single comment told us to kill ourselves. And I ended up not saying no more. But yeah, maybe that'll give you a little bit of insight as to how I present myself on YouTube now. And everywhere. On the internet especially. Ian says, Ian Castile, also hi Ian, says, how do you make friends in general? Follow-up question. That is a big question.
This is the level you play yeah, just have fun.
I'm trying to tell myself to just have fun because it was starting to go by way too like, sorry, I don't mean to, like, drop the question, but I was starting to realize that the time was going by way too fast, and I was just pure anxiety the entire time, and so I was trying to slow down time and enjoy the moment. And it's hard, like, I'm just not matching his level, and I really, really, really wanted to. But anyway, yeah, friends in general,
That's more like a block.
I think, honestly, the best advice I can give is become better friends with yourself. And that might sound super cliche and, like, pseudo advice, but that is what did it for me. Like, once I developed a self-esteem and a self-love, and I started being the person that I was proud of. Also, that was one of my better backhands. It just all really, really, really came naturally socially. So, that is my advice.
Just an inch out. It's a slack up. Oh my lord.
Yamahog. Yes. That is something that I don't know how to fix. That is definitely, like, so many things about my tennis in general, and about, like, any technical thing in any physical movement thing that I do, is it's not the disease. It's just a symptom. Like, there's so many things that, like, causing that to happen that are. It's like it starts in my footwork to the ball, and, like, the initiation of my swing, my grip. Like, there's so many things that are causing my incorrect motion after the shot. Like, it's gonna take a lot of work. But you're right. Oh yeah, Mark went to get another water, so I'm just missing a bunch of dead feeds, self-feeds. Oh yes, this was something that I was very worried about. Trying to give him volleys, and this went way, way better than I thought it would. It still didn't go super well, but it went way better than I thought it would. Because I thought I was not going to be able to give him a single volley the entire time. And I ended up giving him tough volleys, unfortunately, but it was better than nothing. And there we go. Yeah, that's more like it. Unfortunately, I have no idea where those videos are anymore, Megamind. And I'm not just saying that. The original channel of mine that I had some of those videos on was taken down by YouTube by, like, a 3-strike copyright claim thing, and most of those were not really true, but, you know, there's nothing I could do about it. This was back in 2011 that channel died, and I had a lot of awesome memories on that channel that I very, very much miss. But anyway, and then the other ones are on my friend's channels, which I don't know if he knows what those are anymore either, so... Bisuki says, it's really beautiful fights in Syria. Thank you. Thank you, Bisuki. Also, welcome. I hope you're having a great one. D. Gearin, I hope that's correct, says, you're doing great, man. I just try to stay closed a bit longer on that forehand. Sometimes you open up that right shoulder a bit too soon. I agree. And bad things happen. Keep grinding. Thank you very much. Yes, I agree. That is one of the things that I actually notice happens when things go wrong. But yeah, see here, I'm actually giving him decent volley chances. I never thought it was possible!
Yeah.
Yeah, JNR, I try and make my footwork like Federer's, but sometimes your body just gets in its own way. Like, when you try to do things, and especially, like, I am a very different sort of learner than most people, to the point where it makes them very angry when they try to teach me, because things just do not click for me the way that they do for most people. And I'm just one of the most spatially unaware people that you could imagine. Things that are just thoughtless for people, that are just common sense, or just, like, you just know how to do it automatically, I just cannot figure out. And also, I'm going to pause it here, because Mark, at this point, is asking for overheads. I had never... ever fed anyone an overhead before in my life. And I did inform Mark of this as we started. And he processed the information, but I don't think either of us could have imagined just how badly this would go. Of all the things in either of our hitting sessions, this is the part that makes me cringe the most when I think about it. Look at that. The first one was way too short. The second one was a lob that he couldn't get to. And those first two attempts at feeding him overheads are a perfect little microcosm of this entire little overhead feeding session. Like, that was... oh, God. Mark was being very patient. He was a saint. There we go. Look at that. Oh, kind of. Yeah. And then, yeah. Okay, you can do it. Okay, that was way too short. You can do it. That was also way too short. You can do it. That's not an overhead. You can do it. That's not an overhead. Poor Mark Sandset. Okay, it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm alive. I'm alive. I now I can say I have fed people. Or I've attempted to feed people overheads before. Yeah, nice overhead feed. Nice overhead feed.
Maybe be afraid.
It's not okay, guys. It's not okay. Okay, this is. Okay, bye, Booyal. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for showing up. It was lovely to have you. Galaxy, hi Galaxy. They say, is the full hitting session going to be posted on your YouTube? Probably. I was thinking about like making highlights from this stream and putting those in separate videos, but I don't know if that will be as appropriate because I've mostly just been responding to questions unrelated to the exact footage that you're seeing. I might put in a couple of moments from the stream of me analyzing things, but yeah, I probably will make separate videos from these hitting sessions. You got a playoff match tonight, Booyah? Good luck. You probably can't hear me now because you're probably gone, but all the best for that. So yeah, that watching those overheads was even more painful than I thought it would be. And Mark was truly a saint. He never like never got like maybe he did get miffed, but he didn't ever take anything out on me ever. And now I'm feeding him. I'm giving him feeds where he's running out to his forehand. We're starting off a rally, like anything goes rally, but I'm feeding him a running forehand. There you go. There's a running forehand. Definitely a running forehand there. Yep. Let's see. That still could have been better. Luckily, I got better at this the next day. And at this point, I was getting really worried. He's getting miffed at himself, but this was just after the overheads, where I gave him like 3 actual overheads out of 50 attempts. So I was doing my best here, and he's starting to miss. So I was starting to like this was when I was really starting to like blame everything on myself. Okay, here's one of the things that I included in the preview video. This is one of our best sequences from either day. And I misread that ball, so I gave him one to attack, because I thought that backhand was going to jump in more at me, but instead it died and I had to catch up to it, so I couldn't do anything. Hi, Kevin. I hope you're doing well. We are indeed live. JRNR says, it's all good, you're progressing well. My friend can't feed overheads either. Yeah, I definitely need to learn. I appreciate it. Tavita? Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Good to see you, and they say, well, you're doing great. You're going to be 4 or 5 in 2 or so years if you keep grinding with a good attitude. Also, feeding overheads is kind of a weird skill. I appreciate it. I hope so. I definitely... 4-5 tennis looks like an absolute blast. And that is definitely a huge goal of mine. Yeah, I don't know if this if this angle is going to be as good in terms of like actually catching everything, but like you're not going to be able to see anything that I do on the backhand side, unfortunately. It's a better review showing like what he's having to, what he was telling me to give him off that feed. Sansait, yes, it is Mark Sansait. Absolute Sansait. Galaxy says, sick, I'm a 4-5 college level player and I'd love to hit with you. I'm from Ohio. If that's anywhere near where you live. Well, Galaxy, as it so happens, it's kind of incredible that if you didn't know anything about this scenario that caused this hitting session, that's really funny because this hitting session happened with Mark Sandset because he lives in Wisconsin, which is usually very, very far away from me, but there was a 4-5 USTA sectionals tournament that he signed up for and was participating in, and it was in Ohio. Less than 30 minutes away from me, because I live in Northeast Ohio. So if you live in Northeast Ohio, please, it would be an honor to hit with you. It would help me out so much. It would be my honor. Good lord. So yeah, if you live somewhere around Northeast Ohio, and even if not, like even if we can't hit often, then I would still love to try at some point and get together with you. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, Mark was starting to get tired. Started to tell me what he ate. What's he saying here? That was a winner, by the way. Oh no, he was asking me if I could tell, like if he was telegraphing where he was about to hit it, and I'm not a very good judge of that. Like, I certainly couldn't tell, but I don't know if I'm a very good judge of that just because I haven't played very many people. Yeah, now he's talking about how really high-level players are able to, whenever they have an incoming ball like short in the court, they're ready to attack, they can hold their forehand completely and throw off the timing of the opponent, and then go a completely different direction. Tavita says, how many times did you hit with Mark while he was in town? 2 times. This time and then 1 time the next morning. He almost hit my camera here. I was telling him, don't worry about it. It is an inherent risk of this of this sort of thing. It is an inherent risk that I have accepted every single time I set up a camera. Hi, Seacat Tennis. You've just missed some of this first hitting session. Just watching it and talking to some people in chat. Yeah, that's mostly what I've been doing is just interacting with chat people. So you are here in time. Good God. Hi, Joe Pro. Yo, what's up? Good to see you. And it was good to meet you. Joe Pro was at the USTA sectionals event, so I got to meet Joe Pro in person. Very, very nice. Very, very nice individual. And he was playing in the tournament as well. It was in the 4-0 division, or was it 3-5? I'm sorry that I don't remember. It was in 3-5, right? Because you were talking about how, like, everybody thinks you're sandbagging because in warm-ups and stuff you hit such a huge ball. Yeah, good to see you, Joe Pro. Hi, Eddie Thomas. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Hi, Naomi. Yer. Oh, 3-0, says Joe Pro. My bad. Sorry. Yes. That's too... I'm such a fool. I should have asked to hit with you, too. While you were in town. My bad. It never crossed my mind somehow. Eddie Thomas says, just started following you. You were so entertaining. Oh, thank you, Eddie. Thank you. I'm glad that you're entertained by me. That's something that I love to do. I Love entertaining people, always have. Kevin says, when will things ramp up more for you, Saria? How's the weather looking out there? It's getting there. So, for a solid, like, 35 or so... Oh! Let's look at that again. Okay. Here's one that I was saving. That was a nice little surprise. Oh, that first off, that squash shot, and then I hit an angled backhand. Then he comes up with that. Sorry, I'll resume talking. That's such a good squash. YouTube famous! Anyway, Kevin says... Yeah, so the weather, for like 35 solid days, from mid-January to the end of February, it was just nothing but snow and complete cold. And it was rough, but finally things are looking up. 2 days ago, I got to play outside with my usual hitting partner on the usual court, and it was an incredible session. And now I'm hitting him running backhands. Same thing. God dang it. Perfect start. Giving him an impossible feed. I'm supposed to give him a feed that he is able to reach to his running backhand. But anyway, yeah, weather's looking better. Had an awesome day 2 days ago, nice weather, and then a few awesome days coming up that I'll be able to use. So that's looking better, and I'm also going to be able to go out to these courts more. I was on it. Ooh. Let's look at that again. For a long time, I was also unable to come to this area and do anything in public, but namely, I was unable to play tennis for a month as a result. So that's also going to change too. I'm going to be able to play here more often too. So things are really looking up.
That's incredible, Mark.
Going to Cincy around May for a clay court tourney. Interesting. Josue? Is that how you say that name? I'm really sorry. A lot of people, I might be completely butchering your names, and I really hope not to be. But if that's the case, let me know, and I'll adjust. But good to see you, Josue. Welcome. And yeah, that sounds really interesting, Joe Pro. JNR says, how much is a court per hour in Ohio? It's like 24 Canadian dollars in Toronto. So at these courts I'm hitting at right now, it's is it $16 per hour? And if you're a non-member, you have to pay a $6 guest fee, for your session that you're paying for. So if you pay for like 2 hours overall, it'll still just be the $6 guest fee, just the $6 guest fee. But these courts here, Towpath has some of the most minimal rates in the area, so the lowest rates in the area. Eddie Thomas says, I've been wanting to ask you a question. What's up with the fart sounds during some of your videos? Any color behind why you incorporate those hilarious noises in the videos? Yeah, for one thing, it's just to notify people whenever there was like a weird bounce that someone wasn't expecting, or like maybe a mishit or something. That's mainly when, or like it'll also be like during contact. Yeah, usually that's like telling people that there was like a big mishit or something. Galaxy says, really? That's cool, I'm in Columbus. So yeah, okay, that's pretty close. So if you want to hit in the summer, when my season's over, we can get together. Let's go. I'm super down. And we can meet somewhere in the middle, too, because Columbus, I've been to Columbus once, and it was less than 2 hours. I went to Grove City the one time that I drove myself there, and it was not a terrible drive. So if we meet somewhere in the middle, if we find like public courts somewhere, then hopefully it would be less than an hour for both of us. And I drive 45 minutes to get to this club here, which I work at, so I'm really used to a drive like that. So yeah, I'm down, Galaxy. For sure, I need lots of high level hitting. If you're okay with hitting, with having lots of hitting sessions like this, where it's 80% of the time me making errors or hitting bloop winners like that. Yeah, Naomi, it is a great price. Yeah, I feel fortunate that this is my club of choice. Especially now that being an employee here, I'm able to have like member stuff, like member prices and stuff. It is a nice place to work. Joe says I'm paying $30 tomorrow for an hour. I'm so sorry. Oh, Kevin says cheapest ones near me are like $50. Oh no! Oh no! No! I'm so sorry. Yeah, Towpath. If you're ever in the area, I recommend these courts. They're, you know, I mean, you can see. Mark himself said this was a really nice court, and yeah, you'll get good courts for low rates. And I'm not being paid to say that. I am an employee there, but I just legitimately like it here. So, also, we just got a new clubhouse, which is out of this world. Brand new clubhouse. I hope everybody's enjoying the stream. It is really lovely to have you all here. It's been a blast, and we got more stuff to watch here. We got the rest of this session, and I might as well play our second hitting session too. So now we're done with that stuff, and I'm about to do some point play with him just to round out. It'll be just a few points because we only had like 10 minutes left after this, so we're just warming up serves and stuff. And I started getting really nervous again because my serve is either one of my bigger weapons at my level or my biggest liability. So I was... and I hadn't hit a proper serve until the day before this for more than a month. So I was very nervous. I did not just want to double fault the entire time. And I also hadn't faced a serve like Mark's in a long time. Oh, thanks, Joe Pro. I'm glad you think so. I'm glad you think so. Fooled him, yes. Golly, Kevin, yeah. Yeah, the stands, that's the viewing area for these three courts on this side of the tennis center. On the other side, there's actually a mezzanine. And not only is it great for regular viewing, but also it's perfect to put the camera up there for recording stuff. So there's also a nice little mezzanine viewing area on the other courts. You can see there's a little divider to the right there. Let me use my mouse over here. There's this divider, and those three courts, there's a mezzanine viewing area, which is lovely. So yeah, really nice facilities there, especially with the new clubhouse. Bisaki says, it's a really fun stream even though I don't know much about tennis. I learn more every stream though. Yeah, and you don't have to, but I'm glad that you're enjoying yourself. Oh yeah, so yeah, am I starting out with 2 double faults here? Yep. Yep. Like, all my worst fears coming true. All my worst fears coming true here. It was scary. Still trying to find my rhythm after so long off of playing tennis. Eddie says, Saria, I'm so curious. After seeing Mark's first opponent last Saturday, did you think he was in trouble? Or were you surprised when he lost? I definitely knew it was going to be close. I knew it was going to be close after seeing the first few games and seeing Matt's game. I knew that he was going to give Mark a run for his money. And I was surprised to see Mark being as passive as he was. But I knew that it had a chance to win out, because especially once I saw that Matt was starting to look like he was struggling physically a little bit toward the end of the second set, I thought that Mark definitely had a chance to win with that strategy, and he definitely did. I mean, you saw how close he was to winning. But I also was not surprised at all to see that Matt won the entire thing, because Matt has a serious game, and it was a privilege to be able to witness that match. Both matches that I was able to see of Mark's. Because, as you saw on my channel, Zach is a powerhouse as well. And the level that he displayed there was a privilege to witness, so... Yep. I wasn't surprised by the result, but I didn't, like, I mean, I also said in Mark's video, like, that was some of the most nervous I had ever felt watching a tennis match. But it wasn't because I didn't believe in Mark. It was just because they were such an even match for each other during that match. It was such an intense fight. Galaxy says, that's alright, I'm an extreme junk baller who hits drop shots every 3 points, so I'm not a normal player. Well, I'm really used to that. Like, two of the people I play really often, the one guy is not as much of a junk baller. He's just extremely defensive and does give you more unconventional shots. But the other guy, like, if you'll find a video on my channel that I titled The Junk Ball Master! And I don't like calling people junk ballers or pushers or anything because I just think that, oh, there's a good shot, by me, I guess, good reactionary shot. Because, I mean, tennis is tennis, and winning is winning, and, like, a ball is a quality ball if it wins you the point. But, if you're gonna call it junk baller, then that guy is a master junk baller, like, seriously. And if you watch the video, you'll probably see what I mean. And I played with him a lot as well last summer, so I'm definitely used to that style of play, even though I've never ever been able to hold a candle to it from my own end of the court. So that'll also really help me, and I would be honored to play. Seacat says, Mark never bounces a ball even for a second serve. Pretty interesting. I haven't paid attention that much. I did notice his second serve preparation was definitely usually abbreviated. But I wasn't paying super close attention to it. Kevin says, indoor season pass costs upwards of $1,500, and you can only reserve the court once a day for an hour at a time. My condolences. My condolences. Hi, Assemble Brick! I hope you're doing well. Good to see you here. Sorry, I'm catching up, people. Sorry if it's taking me... Once again, I'm really sorry if you're waiting 8 years for me to get to you. Oh, that's so nice! I'm getting these back, though. And that was in. That was in. He thought it was going to be out, and so he just did that, but mine was in. So I ended up winning that point. We'll play it again. Joe Pro says, already say Ray and everyone, I have to skedaddle. I have rackets to string, and the best advice I got was, Joseph, if you don't feel comfortable serving, serve the body until you feel comfortable. Okay. Yeah, that's all. I'm never trying to serve the spots. So that's usually like 90% of the time when I'm serving, I'm just trying to put the ball in. So yeah. But thank you, and it was great to see you, Joe Pro. Have a great one. Thanks for stopping by. Eddie says, Sarah, you have a little Federer flair with your service motion, but as a lefty. Wow. First off, wow. Second off, what do you mean? Like, with, generally, like, with my little... What I do before I start the toss, and then the toss itself? I'm curious to know what you mean, but thank you.
And when the serve goes in.
Yeah, and I just recently switched back to a platform stance after using pinpoint for a while. And I think platform has made me more consistent. And it's easier on my body, because with pinpoint I think I was, my kinetic chain was not as good. I thought, the reason I switched to pinpoint was because I thought my kinetic chain was better. But after a while using pinpoint, I think platform gives me a better, it's easier on my body. It's easier on my elbow and my... I don't know why it's that way. It probably shouldn't be that way, but I like platform since I've switched back. Naomi says, when did you start playing Saria? What got you interested in tennis? I started playing seriously in April 2018. That was when I bought my first adult racket from Walmart and rushed to the local court to try and hit my first ever serves. And I've always been interested in tennis, like, ever since I saw it for the first time when I was really young, but then especially after, like, Mario Tennis came out for the Nintendo 64 and the Game Boy Color. and those became some of my favorite games ever. And then, like, every time I saw pro tennis on TV, I was like, I need to get into this. I love this. This is appealing to me. But then I never actually got into it until 2013. I finally started catching some matches from the 2013 US Open, and then I watched the entirety of the men's final that year, Nadal versus Djokovic. And from that point, I was like, this is my favorite sport. Like, my favorite sport to like, watch, like a professional sport. And it still took me a few years to, like, follow every single tournament, like, every single match. That started in the beginning of 2017, when I finally started, like, looking out for every single televised event, and ever since, that's what I've been doing. And then, as I said, April 2018 was the moment where I was like, because for a long time I wanted to pick up tennis, but I was afraid of competition. Like, I knew that once I started playing, there might be leagues and stuff that I might be useful for, and I was afraid of that. And now, looking back, I cannot imagine what it was like to be that person, because now I want to play points with every single person on the planet, especially if they're better than me. So yeah, always loved tennis, always thought it was extremely cool. It's always appealed to my personality, and just generally the way, like, things that appeal to me visually and artistically, tennis hits all of those buttons. Yep. Long answer, hopefully that helped. Yeah, Joe says that the knee thing was a big thing for Mark. I feel bad. Yeah, but I thought he did an amazing job with it, and I think that he made it work for him. Like, he still gave himself the best possible chance to win. I like how I'm not paying any attention to this footage now. It's making it easier on me. Less painful. Kevin says, yeah. No, it's the minimum, it's the cheapest club! Ah! Oh, God, I'm sorry. Joshua, hi Joshua, says, what UTR would you say you have, Saria? I have no idea. Yeah, I honestly couldn't even, like... Your guess is as good as mine. I'm sorry, I wish I had an answer for you. And it's partially because I've never, like, done any sort of sanctioned events. Like, I've never joined USTA. So I'm really, really green in terms of all that stuff. Kevin says 1,500 is the cheapest because you reserve the court for the hour and can have as many people as you want. Okay. The others I mentioned are per person charges. Well, at least there's that. At least there's one thing about it that's... That makes sense. Eddie says, hey Saria, as I said, I'm new to your channel. I'm wondering where you learned the acrobatics. Where did you figure out those moves? So, that's another potentially, like, eternal answer there, because that's a sport called tricking. At least that's the sport that I learned all that stuff through. Even if some of the moves that I use are not exclusive to tricking. It was self-taught for me. I've, like, even more so than tennis itself, acrobatics and martial arts are things that have appealed to me almost more than anything else on the entire planet. For my entire life. And so I have always wanted to be a practitioner of those things. And when I was in middle school and unfit and very socially inept as a result of bullying, but we'll not get into that, I would just, like, go outside, and after watching a bunch of Jackie Chan movies, I would just try and just throw a bunch of kicks in my yard. And then eventually, finally, like, I got so obsessed with all that stuff that I was like, I just cannot live a life where I'm not doing a backflip. And it got to the point where it was so invasive, the fact that I was not trying backflips, because it was so scary, as it is, that it was just, like, affecting my life. And one day, in October 3rd, 2010, I just got this gigantic adrenaline rush, and... Actually, it was May that I finally got over the fear of it on trampoline. It's like you get that adrenaline rush, and something in your brain snaps, and then you just go for it. And I did. That moment changed my life. And then in October was the moment that I did it on the ground. And from that moment, everything changed. And my entire life became acrobatics and just training non-stop. Like, every single moment of every single day, it was all I was thinking about. And I studied footage on YouTube of a lot of the best in the world at the time, and some of whom continue to be the best in the world. Just videos of their compilations of them performing, getting new skills. Because tricking is the reason I record everything I do and have a YouTube channel for tennis is because tricking has always been very much a virtual celebration of people's like videos and their footage. That's been one of the staples of tricking, is people filming themselves, going for new skills, filming their journeys with other people that they're training with, and sharing all of their new skills and putting them in like aesthetic combinations in these compilation videos. And that entire atmosphere and culture and community of celebration and just being absolutely stoked for every single person who in the community, and helping each other and growing with each other and being friends, changed my entire life. And so yeah, I've been a practitioner ever since. And even though my body hurts all the time and I can't do it as well as I used to, I at one point was pretty world class, like elite, one of the best in the world actually for a time. Even though I'm not quite there anymore and my body has given up on me, I want to do it as long as I can, and I still love it. And I want to get my body back into where I can do it more often. And so yeah, and I also want to incorporate it into all other parts of my life, like game design and animation and things like this tennis channel. So there you go. There are some ways for you. And that was the best forehand I hit the entire night, too. So sorry, that was a long answer. Let me catch up a little bit. Oh, there's not much to catch up on, okay. Joshua says, I'd say you have a 4 UTR, which is good for someone who has been playing for as long as you. Well, thank you. Yeah, and I believe you. Kevin says, I'm like you, I never played in any UST or UTR leagues. I'm thinking of making the plunge this season. I'm thinking of doing it soon, too. Maybe, I don't know, though. Bisuki says, that's such a beautiful story. What an inspiration. Ah! Bisuki, always. Bisuki, you, every single room that you're in, you're just such a positive light. Thank you. Spirit Donkey, hi. Spirit Donkey says, I'm just saying, shouldn't Mark be hitting with someone at his... Yeah, I said that earlier, Spirit Donkey. This has been on my mind. Like, it was getting on my mind as leading into it, and it's very much on my mind every day since, that he would have benefited more, probably. Not probably, definitely. Getting ready for playing at a 4-5 level, like, the most important tournament of his life, hitting with 4-5 players. And I probably should have set something up with him. The thing is, and I don't want, again, I don't want anybody to try and come to my defense. Even though I appreciate it if you do, like, try to make, make me feel more valuable and everything, like, I appreciate it, but it does merit being said that he might have been benefited a lot more by having someone prepare him for the event, be at the level of the people that he'd be facing. But the thing is, this being a place that he's never been before, and me being like the only person from the area that he knows, even if I tried to set him up with somebody better, they might not have been as available for him as I was. So I was the only person who'd be able to designate myself the entire weekend as his hitting partner. And that was the main thing, I think, that made him like accept that this was the best possible outcome for warming him up. Hi, your bedroom punk. Welcome. So even though I am feeling extremely guilty for every single error that he made the entire weekend, and like the reason, like feeling like I'm the reason for him not having the weekend that he wanted, that's a natural response, being the personality type that I am, and I'm for like the day after he lost against Matt, I was I wasn't being this way outwardly. I wasn't letting anybody know in person, but I was pretty gone. I was really giving it to myself internally. I was hating myself a lot. But that is not healthy, and it's based on a lot of partial delusions, and so it just after a period of time, I was able to look at it from a more objective and truth-based mindset, and I still think a lot of the things that I thought then, but I'm being much more kind to myself in the process. Darn it. And that was the last point from that session, because we had to get off the court. Sean Eckhart says, "Bro, why are you wearing your sister's clothes? My sister would never wear anything like this. She has much more self-respect than I do. But also, I like wearing things that make me stand out, and this very much did." Let me find our next session. It's actually still on my card here. Here we go. So the next morning, this was after, or no, this was before his first match. This was the morning of his first match. Also, there's Adora from the new Netflix She-Ra series. Joshua says, UTR and USTA tourneys are the best ways to find your level, find others to play with, and also compete. Yeah, I would want to try... I would want to try the 4-0 level and see how I would do. Hi, Roger Plays Tennis. What do you think your UTR would be roughly, and what do you think Mark's UTR would be right now? I'm not very... Like, somebody asked me this just a few minutes ago, and I'm not very adept with UTR ratings. So I definitely couldn't answer for Mark, and the answer that somebody gave for me just now was 4 for me, and I can only take their word for it, and I do. Kevin says, I think you did a good job giving notice and everything. Don't beat yourself up. Yeah, and I mean, there's a certain degree where I've beaten myself up for things in my life, and it has definitely improved me as a person. Like, introspection, I think, is one of the most important things for a human being to do in their life, period. But yeah, there's definitely a line where you can cross, where it's not introspection and it's just self-loathing, and that's just the line that I had to get back on the correct side of. But in being introspective about this event, there are so many things where I believe that I was not a good fit for Mark. And again, it's not like I don't want him to feel awkward about me feeling that way. It's because I'm sure he knew what he was getting into coming in, and I don't want anybody to feel like they need, I don't want this to be a pity party. I don't want this to be a pity party, because this is one of the greatest experiences of my life, one of the greatest opportunities, and I'm looking back at this with amazing memories, and Mark was incredible, gracious, a good friend. It was awesome to hang out with him. Just so many good things. But boy, was I just not giving him very many good tennis balls to hit. It's just the way it is. But yeah, thank you, everybody. Eddie says, Saria, from watching your videos of match play, it seems like your favorite moment on court is hitting beautiful backhands. Am I right? Yes, you're right, Eddie. You're definitely right. Yeah, the backhand is just my favorite shot to hit, and I love hitting it well. And I'm finally getting to the point where I'm feeling better about my forehand too, which is something that is very, very much needed to happen. Like, see, a shot like that, I just have never... No, actually, no, my usual hitting partner hits shots like that at me too, but Mark just does it constantly, and I have to figure out how to hit that ball back, dude. Your bedroom punk, it's okay, thank you so much. Again, like, this is just an internet thing, like, It's the reason why I part of the reason why I wear like outlandish things like I wore in that last hitting session is it's like it's an act of it's not really an act of defiance because like I don't have to defy anyone. But it's an act like I want to be a force of like encouragement to those who feel like just existing is this blight on other people, like people make them feel bad just for like being alive. I don't know. I feel like I want to help encourage people to be unique and feel okay about it. And I know that by doing that, I'm going to get a ton of comments like I got in my last video where people are giving me a ton of crap about what I wore. It's just going to happen. But hopefully, the positive effects are going to be happening as well, and that's all that matters. And it's a rather pretentious way to look at it and say, oh yes, by me wearing crazy clothes, I am a very positive force on the universe, and I am a very important person. And I honestly, like, part of the other reason I do it is just because I like doing it. It makes me feel good. So, again, you don't need to come to my defense for my choices of outlandish clothing. People are fair for thinking that it's weird, because it is. But I have fun with it. And in response to seeing people's responses to seeing me wearing the weird outfit from the last time, I wanted to wear something similarly outlandish for this hitting session, but I didn't give myself enough time to plan it, so this one's a bit more normal. Even if it is colorful, it's a bit more normal. So I failed. Bisiki says, I think your outfits are super fun. When you play in tournament, will you dress all colorful and wild? Absolutely, yeah. The reason that I dressed like that for the first Mark hitting session was because it was one of the most important events that I had ever done to that point. What the heck? Oh, darn it. That was the wrong program that I used. I'll get the right one going now, because this one should tax my computer less. Looks like it worked okay. But yeah, I'll get this one going anyway. Yes, so when I do, the more important or notable the event is that I'm doing, the more outlandish I like to dress. So the more I like to stand out and make a mark. So yes, when I play tournament stuff, absolutely I'm going to be trying to go hard with my outfits. Eddie says, did you sleep well the evening before Mark's first match on Saturday, given your role in its preparation? I'm curious how much you internalized the pressure. I slept decently well. The main thing was I had to get up way earlier than I usually do. And I was oddly... Usually, like, just normally, it takes me forever to fall asleep. And I had to fall asleep way faster that night, so I could get a decent amount of sleep to wake up early. And incredibly, I fell asleep no problem that night. And I slept alright. So, yeah. And I didn't know what to expect either. I think I was just looking forward to the next hitting session. Like, I was thrilled to have another chance, which is this one right here. I was thrilled to have another chance. I wanted to do better this time, which I didn't. You'll see. You're seeing right now. So yeah, I think I was just excited for the day, and I couldn't wait. But somehow I also managed to fall asleep. Naomi says, competing in both dubs and singles, one great mental tip you can take from dubs is to treat yourself how you'd want a partner to treat you, or with the patience you'd have with a partner. That's amazing advice, Naomi. Thank you so much. Yeah, and that's what I was kind of doing to myself. Like, most of the errors that I'm making, especially on this session, you can hear me saying, come on, like, trying to bolster myself instead of putting myself down. Even though internally I was kind of putting myself down. So I wasn't actually doing it very well, but... Adam Peter Shin, hi. He asks, how tall are you, say? I am 5'10" and change. 5 foot 10 inches and change. So not quite 5'11". Very average. Jerome, hi Jerome, says, you nailed it. Not weird, fun. Oh, thank you, thank you. Hi, kitty. Kevin says, I understand what you're saying, but who are we to judge? People have no reason to judge others. I respect it. Yeah, that could open up like a huge, like I could speak forever on this, and I might at some point, but that's for another time. Pisaki says, no, it's not pretentious. You existing and being yourself has personally helped me feel better existing, however I want to. So I want to thank you, Say. Thank you, Pisaki. Like, I literally can absolutely shoot all of that back at you. All of it. That you have made me feel the exact same way in our interactions. And I'm sorry, I haven't looked at at all of your Discord's stuff you've sent me on Discord in a while, obviously, because I haven't responded. But I want to. Like, I don't feel pressured to. I actually, it's just because I want to respond, so I will. At this point, I think I'm trying to abbreviate my take back on the forehand a little bit, but you can see it's just so tight. My body is just so tight. I just have no chance when I'm that tight, and like that's something that, like, how do you just fix that? How do you stop being tight? Like, I can tell myself that forever. Okay, just get loose, and then my muscles just do what they do. And so that just kind of screwed me right off the bat for these hitting sessions. Misaki says, more people in the world just doing their thing helps others do their thing. Yes. Brian says, loudmouth.com, deliciously wild shorts for golf and athletics. Loudmouth golf. It's so awesome to have you here, Brian. Brian is a person that I see at our club fairly often, and he's one of my favorite people at the club, so shoutouts to Brian. Like, not just saying that either, like, legitimately one of my favorite people at the club. Eddie says, I'm impressed how good an automatic your split step is, Saria, given having not played for many years. Kudos to you. That is such an important part of becoming a good player. Thank you, Eddie. Yeah. And it wasn't natural. I've had to really, like, mentally and consciously get it to that point, and I still struggle sometimes. Like, recently, I was not split-stepping, like, in January, I was not split-stepping with my other partner, so I still have to work on it, but thank you. Thanks for understanding, Bisky. Bisky says, what time of the day is this video? Was it early? Yes, this hitting session was early in the morning. We started at 9 a.m. So this is still, at this point, close to 9 a.m. at this point in the video. Which is early for me. It's not early for a lot of people, but it's early for me. Kevin says, do you get tight all the time, or just in the case when hitting with Mark? I was tighter than usual with Mark, but I am tight all the time, yes. With everything. Like, you can see it in my acrobatics as well. Bleh! High caliber work. Sorry, I'm mixing up my L's and my R's right now. High caliber wolf. I'm so sorry. Good to see you. Despite the fact that I cannot say your name correctly. Hope you're doing well. What? But yeah, Kevin, I'm just naturally one of the tightest people you'll ever meet. It's just the way my body is. I don't know if it's a result of marching band or just the way I was born. But marching band requires you to be, like, all your muscles to be really activated the entire time and very tense. And I don't know if that just sort of, like, became ingrained in me. I'd have to look at more videos from myself before marching band, but I'd be inclined to believe that I was like that before marching band. Julian says, I definitely struggle with the split step. Sometimes I don't even split step at all on accident. Yeah, it happens. It happens. It's something you do have to keep on top of. Federico. Hi, Federico. Is that a continental grip on your forehand? If it is, oh God. Please, please God, no. It's possible, because for a long time, for like my entire tennis life up to this point, I was using a continental grip without knowing. I thought that I was using a forehand grip, but I wasn't. But I've been trying so hard to switch to at least an Eastern. So if I'm failing, then I am very, 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 very upset. And it's definitely possible, especially with me not having much time to set up for forehands here. Kevin says, oh, so it's like actual muscle tightness, not like you tensing up when hitting the ball. No, it's tenseness, not tightness. Although my hamstrings are unbelievably tight and a gigantic problem, both of them now, not just the left one. Actual muscle tightness in my hamstrings, definitely a big thing, and somewhat in my back too. But yeah, I meant muscle tenseness. Yeah. Adam Peter Shin says, did you do DCI? If so, who did you march with, and what did you play? I did a training camp with the Jersey Surf for one summer, but that life wasn't for me. As much as I adore DCI, it's one of my favorite things on the entire planet, bar none. After doing that little training weekend, just a pre-core training weekend camp, just to recruit people, I knew that it wasn't for me, even though I was doing a good job, and so I felt absolutely I felt horrible turning down the band leader when he reached out to me saying, "We want you." It wasn't for me, but yeah. Drum corps and drum corps style marching bands, one of my favorite art forms in the history of the planet. That was a decent exchange. No, yeah, I'm still looping it way too much on the takeback. Oh god, why, dude? In high school, we had a very good Class A DCI-styled competition band, and I went to Grand Nationals twice, which is extremely fortunate for my school. I got very lucky. Freshman year, senior year, I performed the Grand Nationals, and senior year I played a solo on that field. Pretty nice. Eddie says, Say Ray, how exhausted were you at the end of the day Saturday, having warmed Mark up in the morning, dealt with the stress of watching and recording the matches? Not that exhausted, actually, because I was actually about to head out again, because I thought I was going to go and support him during his consolation semis match, before he got a walkover there. And I was ready to. And I think I was mentally tired. Mostly it was just because I was still in that phase of self-loathing, blaming myself for everything that happened. But like physically, I still felt fine. Also, I was trying to see that backhand winner again. God, that's so stiff and ridiculous. Like, that's not how you generate spin. This is just how, like, it's the only way I've been able to do it and control the ball. Where is it? Is it? Oh, this is a really long video. I didn't realize. And I wonder if this hitting session was where Mark started developing some lack of confidence in his backhand, because I was just not giving him enough balls. See, there it is, there it is. I know. Oh, I actually went back really far. Okay, fine. Kevin says, oh, Eddie says, Sari, have you ever tried yoga to loosen up some of your muscle tightness? I used to do yoga a little bit just as part of Yoga X in the P90X routine when I made my physical transformation from being very unfit. See, look at that. Ah! That's the only way to this point that I've been able to generate spin while still controlling the path of the ball, is just by doing that unbelievably stilted, intense swing. But hopefully going through this grip change will help me. Yeah, what a horrible shot. sorry, I know, I'm sorry. I know. But it's true. You know it's true. You know it's true. Kevin says, something that can help at least for tennis is to get another racket with no strings in them. Feed yourself some balls and strike through like normal. The ball will pass where the strings would. And try not to get tense when impact would be. Interesting. I've never heard of that before. That's a very interesting thought. Yeah, I'll think about that. Tomato Soup Group says, what is a continental grip? Sorry, I don't know tennis. I'm just here for the vibes. So a continental grip, it's like if you take something, if you're going to hammer something, like hammer in a nail, that's how you would hold it. So if you like, you got the flat end of the hammer, like this is the flat end of the racket. So this is a continental grip. The grip that I'm trying to use is something more like this for a forehand. You turn it over a little bit so that naturally, like see a continental grip, and I'm facing you like this. Here's continental. Here's an Eastern grip. So naturally, the racket is facing more downward like this. And so that gives you a chance to get more of an upward swing plane, and when you do get more of an upward swing plane, the face of the racket is facing down more, so when you do that, you're putting topspin on the ball, which gets it to go up and down faster. So a continental grip is not good if you want to put spin on your ground strokes. Mostly speaking. Like some people make it work, but it's not recommended. And it's not what I want. I want a stronger grip. I want one so bad, but I'm so ingrained with bad habits. It's unbelievably difficult for me right now. And that also made this be an awkward period for me to warm up Mark. Adam Peterson says, that's amazing, man. Congrats. I forget what you're congratulating me for, but thank you. I appreciate it. Joseph, hi Joseph, says, still rocking the Dunlop frame. Yes, indeed. After this session, I put on some lead tape on this one and also my Force 98, trying to get them to be similar. And I used the Force 98 with tons of lead tape. And it felt so much better. I loved it. I loved it with a bunch of lead tape. Caliber Wolf says, what racket are you using? Yes, this is a Dunlop CX200 Tour. Not a Yonex. I've never gotten the chance to hit with a Yonex before. Our club does not have them. So I've never been able to demo one before. Never hit with a Technofiber either. Adam Peter Shin says, when are you going to play MEP? I would love it. I would love that opportunity. I would not win a point. I would not win a single point against him. But I would drop everything for the chance to hit with that guy and play points. Goodness gracious. You have to make that. You have to make that ball. I missed that one long, even though I was blocking it. Yeah, Daniel, hi Daniel, says, breathing out can help to relax a bit. Maybe try some blitting. Yeah, I've noticed it especially on my backhand side. When I do a... that relaxes me a lot. It's partially why my backhand is actually more consistent. It's because I do that on the backhand side. And I never do it on the forehand. I need to get in the habit of doing that more. Seacat says, you do UTR tournaments? Was planning to do some in Ohio after a nationals tournament in Arizona on April I signed up for. I do not. I've never done any sort of official thing ever. Never done USTA, never done UTR. Everything I've ever done has been very unofficial. And just meeting with friends or like a little mini match play ladder that this club offered. Which, unfortunately, not many people signed up for, so I was not able to do many of those matches. I'm so inexperienced. Outer Space, hi Outer Space, says, you're using the wrong foot to start your forehand. Yeah, that would explain why every single time I take the first step toward my forehand, it feels wrong. And honestly, that's where it starts. That's where everything wrong in my forehand starts, is with the very first step. And that's exactly how it feels. That's exactly how it feels. It feels like it's wrong from the very first step. it feels like I have no chance. That was a great shot. Naomi says, when your timing is good and you have a smooth stroke is when you really hit your spots. Exhaling on your strokes is also good, like Caliber said. Yep. Yeah, I just have so much hitting to do. Yeah, it was a terrible feed, but he made the most of it.
There. That's how you handle a terrible feed right there.
Anant says, semi-western grip is overrated and topspin is overrated, especially as you get older. Your game is good and will stand the test of time, just need to get more consistent. I think I want an eastern grip. So if I'm using eastern here, that's fine by me. But I'm gonna feel it out. Like I have years ahead of me, hopefully. I have many years ahead of me to feel things out and know what I want. But I really do like. I love taking the ball early and. Ooh, there's a slice. I do like hitting the ball a bit flatter usually. You have to make that. You have to make that. Federico says you should play with a central tennis Ian. It would be a good left-handed duel. Again, that's another opportunity that I would salivate at, but it would not be a good duel. Again, I would not win a point unless he makes an error. But yeah, God, I would love to hit with Ian. I would love to hit with Ian. And hopefully we'll collaborate in the future. We're both open to it. Caliber says, all I know is open and neutral close stance for forehand. Never heard of the term starting off with the wrong foot. Well, I do feel that way, though. I do feel like I start off, like, stepping the wrong way every single time I make my first step to the forehand. But yeah, I am curious because I'm so unconfident with everything in terms of tennis in life, but I'm unconfident with determining which grip I'm using on every forehand. So if any of you are able to take a look, like obviously when I'm doing feeds I'm using continental, like that's by design. But during actual rally situations, I'm curious to see if any of you are able to look at. Like I'll stop one of my next forehands, so you can all look and see if you can determine for sure what grip I'm using on the forehand in question. Because I'm so unconfident with saying for sure which grip it is that I'm using. So I'll go ahead and stop one whenever I actually get to a forehand again. But we're at a period where I can't freaking make a ball. That's kind of hard to tell. That's very blurry. That looks Eastern-ish, I hope. And obviously, when you see me here doing shadow swings, my grip is probably going to be more toward where I want it. But it's when there's actually a ball coming at me is when it's going to... my true self will emerge. Okay, we're switching to me feeding him running backhands. Okay, yeah, that's continental. Yeah, nice winner feed, idiot. Still waiting to get a good forehand to show you my grip. Tell myself, come on. Okay, Nier, I'm rushed here, so if I'm gonna have a continental grip, it's gonna be on this one. Let's look. Alright, tell me what grip that is. I'll check up on chat. I should be using my left foot to start. Okay. Yeah, I usually start with my right foot. I can tell you right now, just by thinking through the motions. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I never start with my left foot. Of course, I would just... if I given me a 50-50 shot to do something, I'll choose the wrong way every time. Again, I'm sorry, self-deprecating humor, which is not necessarily healthy, I'm sorry. Naomi says, depends. Different grips work for different styles. Preferences of play. Wouldn't call one overrated. Yeah, that's always going to be a discussion between people. I feel like that's always going to come up. Anant says, if you're trying to make it on the tour, topspin helps, but for 99% of recreational players, up to 5-0, Eastern is the best. That is Anant's view. Eddie says, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit around last Saturday. Mark even said in one of his videos he would have performed worse had it not been for you. Why aren't you acknowledging that? I did acknowledge it a little bit the last time, like when somebody came in chat and said, like mentioned how like there should have been a better player to hit with. I said that it might not have been possible for there to be another person at his level to be that available for him as I was. So I might have just been the only person for the job. So I did acknowledge it a little bit. But again, I appreciate you offering that, Eddie. Outer Space says, tennis is more footwork than people realize. Word. Anant says, it looks like you're forcing a semi-western. You're also forcing a semi-western swing path. Anant says the swing path determines the grip. It's funny because Micah Babel, the coach that I'm starting to work with, she actually told me the grip determines the swing path, so that's another thing that has been affecting me in the last year and a half or so, is many completely conflicting advices. But because Micah is becoming my coach, I'm going to be automatically deferring more to her stuff, her advice by default. So I don't want to insult you by saying that, but that's just the way I think that's the way coaching is supposed to be, where like you listen to your coach, and so. But I find it interesting that you say that, and I don't want to disqualify that from being true. I'm just saying, like, if I ever say something in the future where I'm disregarding what you just said, it's not because I don't have any respect for your view on the matter. It's just because Micah said something different, and she's like my coach for the time being. So just getting that out of the way. And I do think it is something that will always be a subject of debate. Anant says, I've watched your other vids and thought your forehand looked fine. Here you are forcing some sort of windshield wiper thing. It doesn't really feel that way. Interesting. Adam says, looks Eastern to me. Caliber says, hard to see for me. Also left-hander. Eastern to semi-Western. Federico says, pretty close to Continental. Oh, gosh. Yeah, every time. So I'm still not sure! Okay, I'll find another forehand at some point. I managed to dig that backhand out. Nice. I could have made that. Come on, man. This grip change has been unbelievably hard for me, everybody. It just does not want to stick. Okay, that. So bevel 3 is like the wide flat edge, and you're supposed to have your index knuckle on that bevel. So looking at this, it looks like my index knuckle is on bevel 3, right? No spin though. Okay, we'll take a look at that one too. It's probably a weak Eastern, which is not what I want. I want a strong Eastern. But at least it's closer than it was before. It was a solid Continental before I started making this change, but it is a painful switch. It is not... like, my body just fights every single thing in the universe. Eddie says, it makes sense now why Mark didn't use his drive backhand much last weekend. He looks a bit off with that shot in this practice session, especially cross court. Yep. Yeah. That was a nice rally. once again, I hope you all are enjoying this, and thank you so much for coming and hanging out, offering everything, all your insights. And Caliber says, I think if you say weak Eastern, try consciously holding a semi-Western or in between so that when you hit the ball you will end up Eastern. Yeah, and I tried that for a little while, and I think it was starting to work, but... Yeah, I just need to, like... I need to switch it to, like... When I'm here, when I move my forehand, I need to switch to, like, here. And then maybe eventually my hand will work its way back to where I want. Yeah, so every time I get ready to move to a forehand, I just need to go... That'll show you! Freaking continental grip. But yeah, this has been months and months and months, and I just have not been able to ingrain it. Naomi says, easiest cue I use to be aware of my grip while playing is knowing/feeling which bevel to handle. The pad under my index knuckle is touching. Yeah. Caliber says, or stop your forehand swing and take a look at your grip. Yeah, I do that too. That was another backhand winner, unintentional. Outer Space says, if you're using that Eastern forehand grip, you must lay your wrist back. Yes, and that's I started doing that in my last hitting session, and that was changing everything. That was changing everything. Yep. Why couldn't I have figured this stuff out before I hit with Mark, dude? Yep. Yep. Jake says, the hook follow-through makes me think it's definitely more toward continental. Oh, God, help me. I think what outer space means is this, because I often lag my wrist too much. So I think let's get into the grip I want here. Here's the grip I want. I think what they mean is this. Is this what you mean? Like in the take back? Like that? Because I usually go here in my take back when I should be doing this. Is that what you mean? On that note, I'll be right back, and I'm gonna feed this cat. I'll be right back. BRB. Okie dokie. Cat time! Yes, outer space. One of the things that I've regretted the most about these hitting sessions with Mark was the fact that I was not doing that, well, what did you call it? The laying my wrist back. Because I actually discovered it the month before this too. I discovered this in January, that it completely changed everything for me, and it actually helps me stay in the right grip too. It helps me because whenever I'm not laying my wrist back, I can't use those grips. But when I do lay my wrist back, I'm able to. And I found that out in January, and then I couldn't play tennis for a month, and then I hit with Mark, and then I never did it a single time against Mark, and so my forehand was just a disaster again. It's so frustrating. Because I found it out, and it was a huge breakthrough, and then I just abandoned it. Oh, man. But hopefully, from here on, it's going to be an improvement, because it feels so good. It feels so good. So, yeah. And when I do that, because here's my old forehand, like, here's how I would generate, this is how I would generate spin. That's how I would generate spin with my old forehand. And now here's how I can do it. Like just naturally, when I do a wrist cock, when I do a racket drop, it's not gonna face the sky, like I had to do with that continental grip without laying my wrist back. This is how I would have to do a racket drop. But now, it's automatically in the right plane. It's just, it's so freaking simple. Which is why I can't do it. Hello, Ivan says, can you check your hand position when you do your take back and racket drop? You just have you open your hand and no racket. Hi, Pen. Yes, I'm a lefty. I'm not totally sure what you mean, Ivan. I'm sorry. But yeah, thank you for your input, Outer Space, and thank you everyone for all your input. Yes, Outer Space, it is 10 billion times more natural. God, it is so much more natural, and it was working the last time I hit against my usual partner. Oh God, I want those hitting sessions with Mark back so I could do that instead, dude. But I'm still happy they happened. It was still such a blessing. So maybe I could have given Mark some shots.
Mark went to take a short break, probably just to scream some frustration out after having a hit with me. And I know that's being hard on myself, but I mean, it's tough to know when you're that far below the level of your hitting partner, and let alone when you're trying to warm them up for the most important tournament of their life. There are some intrusive thoughts, but I am accepting that as it comes because I need to be taking this seriously. And whatever happens, happens. And he's been gracious and patient the whole time. So this is still an incredible opportunity for me. And I can't wait to root him on later. Let's hope he does well. And let's hope the rest of this hit goes well.
Okay. Anyway, Bruin says, by the way, Saria, are you the guy who started playing tennis somewhat recently and really got hooked on the sport? I saw someone's video that said this, and I think it was you. Probably. I would not doubt that there are a lot of other YouTubers just starting out recently who are in the same position. Acing Tennis is kind of in a similar position, even though he's been playing a bit longer than me. But I'd say chances are that it was me.
And seriously, that speaks to his graciousness, that he could have chosen anyone. Like, he could have hired a coach from any of these clubs to hit with him, and it would have probably been better, but he was okay with hitting with me, and I want to perform and do him justice for making that choice, so Let's do it.
Spoiler alert, I didn't. Sorry, I'm sorry. Caliber says, I feel I kind of find it hard to see Eastern grip in junior tennis. It's mostly topspin play with semi or full Western. Yeah, it has gravitated toward that for sure. Bruce says, look at your knees when you hit your back slap versus your forehand. What do you see? I tried to translate with why my backhand side is better than the forehand. It's the knees. Yeah, and who was it earlier who said, and also in a different video, that I need to apply better balance from my backhand over my forehand. Alright, Pen, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for offering. Eddie says, Saria, why during a hitting session are you holding up the index finger on a slightly out ball? Normally you just keep playing the point on slightly in or out balls during a hitting session, right? I'm trying only to do it when the ball is, when I can't reach the ball. And then whenever it's in or out, I'm just trying to, like, let him know if it was, just so that he knows. But yeah, like, if hopefully I wasn't stopping the points if I could reach the balls when it was out. But this was such a different experience for me, with so much more pace. I might not have known what I could reach and what I couldn't. Ivan says, try this. Stand beside your bed, put your palm down to the bed, and do your forehand motion. Keep your palm on the bed. I'm sorry, so now we're getting to the point where you're really starting to see just how true it is that things do not click for me the way that they should. The way that people can teach like 99% of other people, I just things do not get through to me. But maybe I was doing it right. I mean, I'm automatically disqualifying myself from doing it right. I'm sorry, but I just have so much experience with not doing things right. Yeah, Ivan, yeah. And that is how I think of it, too. Okay, so I was doing it right. Okay. That is how I have thought of it, too. It's just my contact points are so inconsistent that usually I'm so badly set up for it, just by virtue of me doing everything wrong from the very first step, that I can't get to doing it right. But yes, Ivan, yes. Yeah, and use your hip to move your arm. Yeah. Just like a golf swing. Yep. Yeah. JG says, why is everyone judging my boy Saria? Hi, JG. It's fair. I mean, no one judges me more than me, so it's only fair that other people get a shot, right? And God, it is especially fair watching footage like this. Penn says, it takes time if you just started tennis 2 years ago and you have no prior experience in related sports. Golf definitely helped me with my backhand, for sure. And I am coming up on 3 years of tennis now, next month. Cool beans. I have improved a lot in my technique in the last year. Even though my game itself has plateaued a bit during that period, my technique. And I've learned a lot. Outer Space says, no! Don't use your hip to move your arm! Alright, the jury's out. Bruce says, yeah, you gotta make the connections. Because one word can mean something completely different to other people, otherwise. For the time played, you were playing real good. Thank you. Yep, I'm trying to let this come with time. It's just, yeah, in moments like this, it's hard to. Playing with Mark and not doing well. Ivan says, yeah, keep this up, man. I started the same time as you. You inspired me to try to keep improving. Thank you. that's really nice to hear. Keep going. Yeah, I was not doing well in the serve warm-ups.
4 points on, 4 points off, serving. Double faults are gonna come, accept it.
Yep, accept it. Nice. Yeah, outer space. I think I've started to find the natural kinetic chain here and there. Bruin says, "Are you working with a private tennis coach for lessons?" So there is a coach at my tennis center that I've been working with more often. Still not very often, but I've been working with the same one here and there. It's the one you'll be able to see him in the video. Training for Mark Sandset. It's something like that. 3-5 tennis, and I'm in a black and white shirt. That's the coach that I've been hitting with here and there. But now also, I'm going to be working with Micah Babel, the former WTA world number 27 in singles. She has her own YouTube channel, Micah Babel Tennis, and she's going to be working with me. We're actually going to be doing a live stream together, where she's going to be analyzing some of my point play and stuff. So that'll be awesome. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Penn says, which videos did you watch to study your form? I study like everything, like absolutely everything, and that's probably why I've been so all over the place, because I study every single, like, high-level player I see. So that's probably why I kept trying, like, I kept being apt to adjust things way more often than I should. But that's where hopefully having a more centralized point of reference is going to help me. Yeah, Naomi, I agree. Bruin asks, why do you think you weren't doing well with the serve warm-ups? I was just getting worried that it was going, like, all the misses I was doing was going to translate toward double faulting like every single point and not getting him in a rhythm, and seeing him making all of his serves so effortlessly, and just the imposter syndrome, just immense imposter syndrome. I had very high expectations for myself, and I wasn't meeting them, and that's my fault. Bruce says, the grind never stops, whether it's us plebs or the pros, always grinding, baby. Word. Oh. See, that was, like, randomly... It's only when I'm stretched out and I always make shots that I'm not supposed to make. And I miss every single shot that I'm supposed to make, dude. Codisma. Oh gosh, sorry. Codisma? Sorry, that's going to be completely wrong. Welcome, I've seen you around. Asks, how long have you been playing tennis? Almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years next month. Yeah, Pensu says, I felt like point play is probably too early for you, in my opinion. Yeah, for better or for worse, that was how I was exposed to tennis, because the only person I was able to play with for years, or for like the first year and a half or so, only wanted to do point play. So that was the only way I was able to play tennis. So it's just, whenever, sometimes you just don't have control over that sort of thing, but... William says, hi, Saria. Hi, William. William says, I'm kind of like you in that I have a strong backhand but struggle with forehand consistency. It's odd because everyone tells me that a forehand should be more natural. Do you know why? Well, for me, it's because I grew up a golfer. I know that's why it is for me. And also because I have a lot of passion in having a good backhand. It's just, like, throughout my life, I've always wanted to be unique and exemplify the unique parts of things. And strong backhands are unique, and so I wanted to always have a strong backhand, especially a strong one-hander, and I also think one-handers are beautiful, yada yada yada, basic stuff, basic bitch stuff, and so I've just been really passionate about building a strong backhand, and so naturally it's happened. It's become stronger than my other parts of my game, so that's how it is for me. Oh. Yeah, but also that's probably partially why he was going for less on his slices too. His slices weren't finding the range that he wanted. I'm sorry, Mark. Yeah, it's because your brain is so focused on the ball. Yeah. Yep. Outer Space says it's better to think about staying stable throughout contact with weight more on your front foot. Yeah, with balls that like you're able to move through the court into. Yeah, that helped me a lot when I was working through the grip change. And my one coach, the one that I am able to meet with in person, he's always telling me to focus on the front foot on my forehand. Codisma says, I found my backhand easier because the ball is more in front and you can see the target and the ball at the same time. The forehand is more away from the body. That's Codisma's perspective. We are the rare breeds. Oh, you are on the Discord, Outer Space. Cool. Same username. I am there as well. If anybody is in the Mark Sandset Discord and didn't know, I am there. Yeah. Stability, staying upright, getting down for the ball, bending my knees, moving into my front foot. None of those things were what I did in that previous shot. Yeah, something I've never done that Micah has really pointed out is that I do not bend down to meet low balls. Like low pacey balls. I never meet down, or like balls that are bouncing right on the baseline. I've always just stood there like a frickin' beanstalk, and I've hit the ball like a beanstalk. Thank you, Codisman. I think he did it with me because there's literally no other choice. Honestly. But no. But yeah. But no. Yay! Unintentional ace. Let's take a look at these notifications. Jerome, just hit the ball harder! And I see a comment from Outer Space. Yeah, that's what somebody else commented on that exact video with. And like every single time I move to the ball, I'm like, this is wrong, this is wrong. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, I was thinking of that video specifically, Outer Space. I'm seeing your comment on there. Hey! Yeah, this was the best rally from this day. That was a lucky forehand. It was bad, but I somehow made it, but then justice prevailed. But yes, this was definitely the best rally of this morning. Unfortunately. Very lucky, because you see how much I freaking I swung like that, and somehow the ball went in, but then miracles could not happen twice in a row. But like, opening my wrist on the take back seriously changes everything. Yeah, I am left-handed. Luckily, I was serving all right here for a while. Here's another nice point. Yeah, he was striking some decent backhands here, though. Bruce says when you do flips and such, you have the rotation / center of balance for that. Why not use that concept for your groundies? You can probably do it using your hips for rotation like your flips. Yeah, I did initially. Honestly, my forehand was more natural when I was first starting. Then I start thinking, and then it's all over. JG says, I like the backhand area. I'm also working on switching to the one-handed backhand. Yep, backhand is definitely by far my most comfortable stroke. My favorite stroke.
Last 4. Let's see if I can make some returns.
So this will be the last clip here for this session. And then maybe I'll look through some... I'll give you all a sneak peek. Would you all like to see a sneak peek for one of my future videos, which will be stuff from the match, the sets that I played against my usual hitting partner 2 days ago? Would you like to see some stuff from that? A bit of a teaser? Oh yeah, he hit a few kick serves here, which were kind of nasty. Wide kickers. That, okay, let's look at that again. Let's appreciate this 4-5 player. Very basic serve +1, doing everything I can to get that kick serve back because I never see these serves ever. A wide kicker. Almost knocking me into the bubble. Bruce says, I feel like your knowledge of centripetal force can benefit you on your tennis game, though. You're hella athletic. Thank you. I agree about how the force has helped me already in learning tennis. And it definitely gives me a lot of power potential. But my my tenseness in my muscles and my tendency to overthink and never be able to find middle grounds and nuance, there have been a lot of other things holding me back as well. But yeah, tricking has definitely been a good precursor in golf as well. I really appreciate it as well. I appreciate it. Thank you. William says, I have an Eastern grip on forehand, and one thing that's helped me is to use my offhand to find the ball. Yeah, that has helped me too. And luckily that happens naturally for me at this point now. Not when I'm facing somebody like Mark, though. It's only when, like, when pace is coming at me, I don't know what the frick to do. Yep, that's nice. It's too good for me. Which would have been nice if he had a 4-5 player to hit with who would have been able to return that and give him some sort of actual... Never mind. Let's go, Syria. Let's go, Syria. Let's go. Don't double fault twice in a row. Let's go. Let's go. You won't. You won't. You won't. Okay, good. I thought I was going to. Also, sorry. That was really choppy. Not like anything useful happened anyway. Yeah, it seemed like he was using the hitting with me as an opportunity to really swing out. Also, that was a great backhand there, definitely. Everybody study that backhand, it's perfect. Bruin says, are you a relatively new golfer, too, or are you a more experienced golfer? I've been golfing since I was 4, and I was a decent junior. Bruin says, does anything about golfing help or hurt your tennis game? Just only help. It only helps my backhand. For sure. Straight through. And that was it. So now, maybe I'll find you a few highlights from this. This is a secret super special. I'm going to show you some stuff that'll be in a new video that I'm kind of excited about, where hopefully my forehand's going to be better, and I can get your thoughts on that right now. Hi, Nissan. Good to see you. Let me know if I said that totally incorrectly. If so, I'm very sorry, but welcome. I hope you enjoy. Let's find this video. Just a moment, please. I hope you all are still enjoying. Thank you all again for being here. Very much. It's been a lot of fun. Just had to let the intro play out. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. No, it was just too late on that, or too early on that one, and got a lot of whack. And yeah, I'm the one in the purple shirt here. So this is my usual playing partner. I'm trying to find some points of note here. Yeah. Sorry. I'm unintentionally finding all of his worst moments. Like, he's actually, like, one of the most consistent people I've ever faced, ever. Yeah, I just completely mistimed that and got on my back foot. And he hits slices like that, which actually do not bounce. They just straight up freaking worm burn. And then he hits the back line every single time. Oh, we'll take a look at this forehand return. Like, you can see already that my take back is abbreviated. I didn't cock my wrist back though. Oops, sorry. But that's a decent racket drop, not facing the sky. Bruce says, an idea for your channel, probably not original, but make a blog post that you'll do every year and you watch your gameplay from the past and giving feedback on your play. I was thinking about that, Bruce, yeah. Especially when I was watching some footage from last year. That's such a bad miss. I had done so much work to get into this, and then I was like, let's go for a big corner shot here. And it wasn't even going toward the corner, and it wasn't even pacey. It was just a horrible miss. Okay. Let's take a look at this grip. Okay, I started moving toward the ball with my left foot. That's already good. You can't frickin' see my hand because the sun is so bright. Hopefully that's more toward a... it's a bit stronger toward a real Eastern. Let's take a look at the racket drop. Looks alright to me. And then suckiness. Oh, Codesmus says, I lost my hitting partner. Been solo since November, prioritizing server practice. Well, I'm glad you're making use of it. But I'm sorry to hear that. Penn says, who is your favorite pro players, or multiple pro players? So, the player that I latched onto when I first started watching tennis in 2013 was Federer, because I heard all this... Because he was the name that I was hearing along with Nadal for all the years before that, before I really got into tennis. And at the time, in 2013, he was having a rough year, so all the talk was that maybe he'll never be at the heights of the game again. So I was like, well, I want to see Federer win one more. I want to see this supposed greatest of all time have one more moment in the sun. And I had to wait 4 years and watch a couple of frickin' painful Grand Slam finals against Djokovic. Not to mention the recent one, but I did get some nice moments, and I still really, really enjoy watching him because he is a fun player to watch. I like all the players, you know, I like all of them. There are very few players that I don't like. There are few things in life that I just don't like. Kojisma says, my favorite is Andy Roddick. Andy Roddick has the most fascinating career to me. Yeah. Andy has a very fascinating career to me. He hit that slice like a freaking overhead. Obviously, that volley before that was horrible. Me at the net is like... What is me at the... Me at the net is like, a whale trying to fly like a hawk.
Oh, God.
I'm trying to find something truly notable here. That's also a tough... I think coming up is... Oh, here's something. I should have come in on that. And I should have come in sooner on this. But I get away with it.
I'll take it, though.
Also, I just realized that this is a little messed up. The view... Oh, it's kind of zoomed in. I didn't realize that the view was zoomed in. But at least you can see the tennis. You can't see the score, though. But yeah, Federer's my big favorite, but like I said, I like a lot of them. I love so many players on the women's side, and incredibly, so many of the players that I loved the first time I saw, when they were like just sort of unknown players, they all went on to win a slam so far. So Barty, Kenin, Osaka, I was a fan of hers since like 2015. Who else? Oh yeah, Andreescu, although a lot of people were her fan right away, for good reason. So many exciting people on the women's side that I am really into. I use the wrong words. Don't, okay. I miss Carla Suarez Navarro. I really hope that her cancer is gone. And I wish I would have been able to see Justine Henin when she was still on the tour. Because, good God, that is a tennis game. That is a beautiful man. Yeah, I like Team. Tsitsipas' game is very appealing to me. Kyrgios is exciting. You know, Kyrgios is Kyrgios. Kyrgios is Kyrgios. What else can you say? And this is another good slice. I had no idea it was gonna come at me this fast, because look at this. Like, it was definitely not... That was like the best frickin' time for me to... That was the best backhand I could possibly hit into his backhand, and to think I was gonna get a floater, but no. Oh, here we go. Now, obviously, I could have reached for this volley, but I did not have confidence in that because my net game is like a whale trying to fly like a hawk. But look at these forehands. Obviously, this one, I mean, what am I going to do? But at my level. But let's look at these other forehands. These are some of the most... This is the most conviction I've put behind a forehand since I started playing, when I was just trying to hit everything out of the park. Look at... Okay. We'll take a look at this grip. But see, the fact that I'm cocking my wrist this way is already better. And that's a parallel position that I want. And so naturally my racket drop is not coming up toward the sky. Very good. Let's look at my footwork. My weight transfer. It's a good shot. And then he hits it kind of toward the corner. We'll not look at that forehand. We'll look at this one. Let's look at the grip. That's kind of weak. But again, I'm cocking my wrist, which makes the entire shot feel way more natural to me. Okay, see, look at that Racquet drop. That Racquet drop is facing the sky. That is what I don't want. That is... oh, Lord. Let me catch up on chat here a little bit. Penn says, what do you mean fascinating? Fascinating in the terms of all of the narratives that were kind of forced on him, and the way that he had to live his life around that, and the way that his career developed as a result. Like, him being the American that everyone was pinning their hopes on in America and in media to be the next big thing after Sampras and Agassi. And he wins his slam at age 20, and then his career plays out the way it does. And I feel for the guy, you know? It's just such... It fascinates me in so many ways. The Wimbledon 2009 final, good God. I think... How could you not feel for the man? But and that's another player I wish I could have been a tennis fan while he was still playing on the tour. Kodisma says, women's tennis is way more entertaining to watch. You never know what's going to happen. They play great in tactics tennis. Yeah, it's fun to watch. Naomi says, I literally started following Naomi because we have the same name, and look at her now, just dominating. Let's go, Naomi. Another hipster Naomi fan. Before it was cool. Let's go. Yeah, let's look at these forehands again. Yeah, it was a good approach shot. Kodisma says, do you ever practice on a wall? I rarely have access to one. There's one at the courts that you see here. It's about this big. Literally. It's about this big. So that doesn't help very much. Then there's one at the place I work, but I'm usually too tired by the time my shifts are over, and the weather is usually not good enough. And also, that building is about to be demolished, so I'm not going to have access to that anymore. So no, there are no tennis walls around me, ever. Ever. Pensu says, have you seen Ultimate Tennis Showdown? Yes, it's very interesting. I didn't think I would like it, but I did.
It was so much fun. I never felt like I was mentally keeping myself out of it, but...
Yeah, I should have made this shot. Got crossed up. What do we got? Sorry. Again, I'm happening to show one of his shots that is very... I'm suddenly forgetting English. Uncharacteristic. Well, that's characteristic for me. A double fault like that. But here I'm down love 30. Usually I'd get broken immediately, but I decided to fight. Oh, is this... Yeah. Here's another forehand that gives me hope. Yep, I don't have access to walls. I'm sorry. Like, literally, I don't. It's very, very saddening. Hi, Brian. Brian says, I've relocated. I've enjoyed watching your progress. My goal is to be a 4-5 by the beginning of next summer. I'm located in Northeast Ohio. And very good luck with that. I am rooting for you. I want to be a 4-5 somewhat soon, too. Watch that again, because I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with the end of this game in general. Did they put UTS on YouTube? I'll have to look all that up. I wish they put the frickin' the senior tour on YouTube and stuff, because I'm never able to see those live, and then some of them they rerun forever. And, like, the other 8 tournaments, they never ever show again. And so, if you miss it, you're screwed. I love that senior tour. I'm... why can they just... Yeah, I watched UTS live. It was fun. Speaking of backhands, let's check out this point. Alright. Just a little preview for a video that's going to be coming up on my channel. Thank you, Bruce. Yeah, Brian, that'd be cool. Saying you could learn from my backhand. Interesting. Yeah, okay, we'll watch that again. I went right to the right spot. Oh, wait, there's a point earlier, too. I can show you that serve. Okay. Where's this other point going to be? I think this is it. See, those slices are tougher than you think. Because you see how hard he swings straight down? They always bounce so strangely. Thank you, Lee. Also, hi, Lee. Well, what's the whole one again? Because I'm interested in looking at this forehand, too. There's a trophy position. Racket drop. Pronation. See, that's... Grip is weak. Grip is weak. I think. But at least I'm moving the wrist. And the racket drop is not super crazy. I need to develop my slice. My backhand slice. I did not hit many slices this day. But the ones I did were better than average for me, for the most part. I'll try and find the point in question. Is this it? I think it is. Yes, it is. Okay, so here's a point where I hit 2 slices, and I normally don't hit slices this well. It's still not amazing, but... They're really short and awkward for him. That one was, at least. Hey, what a great chance! Oh yeah, Saria-ing it. That's what it's. That's what we're gonna call that. Saria-ing it. He really Saria'd that point. We'll watch the whole thing again, though. I'll look at the forehands. I'll look at the forehand grips. There might have been only one forehand, actually. I'll take a look at it, though. That looks a little bit stronger. That looks a little bit stronger. Later, Brian. Thanks for hopping in. It was good to see you. M-Jank. Hi, M-Jank. M-Jank says, hey, Saria, still playing with that Dunlop of yours? Yeah, so I was playing with the Dunlop CX200 Tour and the footage that I was showing earlier in the stream. I really like that racket. But I was playing with this Dunlop Force 98 again today on this day of footage because I had just applied lead tape to it and I wanted to try it out and see how it felt. It felt amazing. And I put some on the CX200 Tour as well. I was trying to balance out the weight between the two rackets, even though you can't really get 2 separate frames to feel exactly the same. But I wanted to try this anyway, and I loved how this felt. I loved it so much. William says, have you ever tried to throw in a forehand slice? Here and there. Not as much lately. But yeah, I do try that sometimes. Also, I'll look at more of that forehand. That is a bit of a stronger grip. Okay. I think it is. I hope it is. God, I just can't ever tell. But yeah, I like the racket. No, I mean, the racket drop is muted, but that's fine because I don't want to have a ridiculous one that's completely wrong. So I'm totally fine with that forehand, even though the finish is weird. Oh, there were multiple forehands. There were multiple forehands. Okay. That's a weaker grip again, I think. But again, I like that racket drop. Do you really want to see this again? I have to... Defense mechanism, I have to find this other shot again. I have to find a better finish. Okay, that's better. That's better. That's better. Yeah, those were low slices. I've been working on my high slices a lot lately. And I definitely start high and cut down vertically and through. But I'm still working through the feel for it, for sure. I have a lot of work to do. Apparently on my grip. Darn it. Not surprised, though. I've learned everything wrong. Ever. M. Jank says, I play with an old DR. DR. I'm not sure if that is, I'm sorry. Before I go, maybe I'll show some tricking stuff. Because why not? Because I just cling to my past. I cling to the success in my past like a freaking virus. Like bacteria. Fade out the lo-fi. Which shall I play? Which shall I play? I'll play possibly the one where I do my most high-level tricks so far. Demon Killer! I gotta bring it over here first. We'll go to theater mode. Theater. What happened to the theater? This was me in 2016. I do like Dunlop. Yes, indeed, I do. Bye, Kodizma. It was good to see you. Bruin says, I've not been playing tennis for a long time, but after watching this video, I logged in at Tennis Warehouse and purchased a new Babla Pure Drive. I plan to start playing again. Wow, Bruin. That's an honor. I'm really happy. I hope you enjoy. I hope the racket works out for you, too. Goodness gracious. That's cool. Omar. Hi, Omar. Says when he hits slices, got to throw the racket with a non-dominant hand. Just learned this from Peter Freeman video. Yeah, and I do that for topspin as well. Because I have a one-hander. Oh, look at that choppiness. So many low-quality cameras. Oh, thank you, Bruin. Thank you for telling me. That's very nice to hear, and thank you for being here. So this was the period when I was at my peak, when I was legitimately world class. Like there are no rankings for this sport, but I would have been. I have to say I would have been top 50 in the world. To be safe. I'd be curious to know what other people who were with me in my journey would say about that. Hi, Sean Hillary. Says, like your videos, they're funny and you have a good development. Keep going. I'm trying to clean up my one-hander as well. Try to let your non-dominant hand swing back a little more. Looking good. Yeah, I've been tending to drop it down instead of bringing it back like I used to do more naturally. Oh, this looks familiar, right? Except it's not on a tennis court. I like that combo. It just goes. Thank you, Daniel. Double, double, uphill, because we just don't care. I like training uphill when I'm training outside because I feel like it's like training weights. I need to land that someday. I have unfinished business. I need to learn that again too. That's one of my favorites. This landing is... Well, coming up is one of my combinations that I'm the most proud of right here. I'm just proud of every part of that. And that's probably that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. So I'll go back, look at a couple of these things. I like that. I like this. That's why it's all at the end. Okay, here I'll slow it down. There's so many unique aspects about tricking that I love and that I loved to train. And now this is probably the most difficult thing I've done. It's a flip with 1 3/4 twists, landing on one leg, swinging into a flip with 2 twists with a kick in the middle. And I landed a little bit short, but oh, what are you doing? I don't want a mini player. You think you know me? Yeah, this is when I was twisting my fastest ever. Thank you, Bruin. Bruin says, with so much spinning in the air, did you first have to practice some of these moves on beds of foam? Mostly on the trampoline was how I got ready and got the air awareness, yeah, and started being able to spin faster. But then you see a facility like this, like what you see me on here is a spring floor, which is naturally padded. Eddie says, Sari, I'm curious your reaction to Mark's apology video he released earlier this week. I mean, I liked it a lot. If he hadn't done it, I wouldn't have blinked an eye, but I really liked that he did. It was very, very genuine, and that's why I liked it. And I don't think anybody told him to do it. He did it because he wanted to, and that's kind of the thing about his channel. It is all straight from the heart. And so I'm here for it. I thought it was great. And now for my most recent video with my current hair. And it's playing super slow still. We don't need that.
Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
Sean says, man, if you have this much confidence doing these routines, you should be like Tsitsipas someday.
Shapeless, like water.
So much less Greek, but thank you.
Water can flow, or it can
His hair is way better than mine. His hair actually looks like it has form and shape.
Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water.
Yeah, trampolines are incredible for training, Bruin. Just absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, I no longer have access to one, which is really sad. And it's really hurting my air awareness and confidence.
Water never goes stale, so you gotta just keep on flowing, keep on flowing, you gotta just keep on flowing, so you gotta just keep on.
And one of my favorite places to train is on nice and soft grass.
Flexes, so that when you want it, it's there. When you want to move, you're moving. I mean, you gotta put the whole hip into it. Snap.
Eddie says, Sari, when you saw the argument between Mark and the official live, were you surprised? I don't know if I was surprised. And I was like, oh man, here we go. But, and because I knew that Mark was not the sort of person to, Mark is the sort of person to speak his mind, so I wasn't surprised. I was worried about what it might mean about his mentality. I was worried that it might lead to even worse play, but it did not. I think he used it to help him. It's definitely not something that I would do, but I mean, Mark is clearly a very different personality from me. And again, like if he hadn't apologized, I wouldn't have thought any less of him, because it's the sort of person, like, I know he is the way he is, and I respect him for what he is, and I accept him for what he is. But I thought the apology was awesome. I do.
Like water. Be water, my friend.
Okay, everybody. I don't really want to leave because, I mean, anytime I'm in an atmosphere where I have this many people here, I feel so honored and like, man, why would I ever leave? Like, people interested in me and being nice to me and talking to me about stuff. Like, here for me, like, this many people just here for me, just to listen to me, and for whatever reason. It's hard to leave. It's hard to leave, but that seems like a good place to wrap it up, because I'm running out of things to entertain you with. So, yeah, I'll probably release separate videos with those hitting sessions with Mark. I might include some of the things that I said from the stream, and otherwise keep it silent. I don't know how exactly I'll do it, but I'll probably release those two days separately, with a compilation of some of the better moments and some of the worst moments, just a general sense of what happened and some of my thoughts on it. But God, everybody, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. All the support, all of the love, all of the anything, love or not, input, support, call-outs. Roasts, just everything. I'm so fortunate. Thank you for being here for me. Thank you for loving tennis and appreciating interests in general, and you have all been a light in my life tonight, and thank you so much. Oh, thank you, JG. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. It's been an honor, and hope to see you again soon. Until then, I wish you all the very best that life has to offer, and have a great one. Dream on, friends. Peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.